Renegade, for your information, sir, I was actually on time. You're the only guy putting balloons in your shirt and showing off potential boobs that you have, or wearing wigs and all that type of stuff. So, sir, I was on time.
It's true. I seen him.
Yeah, he actually was on time for once. We just it took us a while to start. Sorry, guys. We were behind the scenes being nerds and just talking about stuff. So I deeply apologize. At the end of the day, I will blame everyone but myself, though. Welcome to Lost Jedi Podcast, everyone. We got Fatal J, as you can see in the. Oh, nah, you don't know what you got some possession going on.
You know, if I did that in front of my mom, she'd be like, "Boy, stop it with that demonistic stuff."
Voodoo witchcraft.
I remember one time, not to segue real quick, but I was watching X-Men when I was back living with my parents, and Storm, Storm, when she gets her powers, her eyes turn white, and the light. Yeah. My mom said, "If you don't get it off that demonistic mess, get it off my TV." And I had to stop watching.
That sounds like my mom. Maybe something about black mothers, Jay. They don't
I didn't have to grow up with that. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's because they were never around.
Yeah, they didn't grow up.
That's a whole other story. That's tough.
Checkmate.
Okay then. X-Wing is also in the building, having him a little sip of his brewski. What's going on?
Yeah,
man?
it's Fifth Monday. I just got done with work, so I'm having a beer. Just enjoying myself.
Monday.
It's Friday.
Fifth Monday. It's the end of Fifth Monday. Yeah.
You working again tomorrow, huh?
Yep. I'm actually supposed to be working right now, but I couldn't miss this.
Wow. That makes me. I didn't know that. And I feel honored.
You should feel honored, man. That's a pleasure.
This man's missing out on money to come on that Lost Jedi podcast. That's how you know we big time over here, right, Jay? We big time.
We big time.
Yeah.
Renegade,
also,
you already know.
Also, shout out to Star Wars Obsession, man. How you doing tonight? How you feeling?
What's up, guys? I'm feeling good. It's my fifth Friday. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a fifth Friday.
Let me tell you about this guy up here. He showed me his equipment. Pause.
Whoa.
That's why I said pause. Whoa. He showed me his equipment, and I must say this, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the Millennium Falcon cockpit.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It is. You should.
And I never told him if he invite me over, something will be missing, sir. So never invite me over.
This man is
damn, Jay.
He's from a galaxy a long time ago, in a place far away. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty dope. But anyway, guys, welcome to the podcast. Look, Justin is in the chat. He's not here tonight. He's not feeling too well, but he's holding us down with the $5 holla. That potentially may be the first super chat I've ever received from Justin, because he's usually always in the stream. He says, man, how am I going to miss the one day Fatal J shows up?
Justin, I miss you. Come back. Please come back.
This is it's not like, hey, damn, I wish I could have talked to X-Wing. It's like, oh, Fatal. It's always about Fatal J, right? Always talking about Fatal J.
Hey, man, y'all made me feel low. Y'all made me feel good.
We got to, man. We got to. We appreciate everyone being here, though, X-Wing. Don't cry about it, all right? It's all right.
I'll be
all right. We appreciate you being here. I mean, if you weren't here, look at that setup, man. I mean, like,
I'm the boy who lived.
That vintage Slave One right there is pretty dope.
It sure is.
Don't call it that.
I'm right about to say, don't call it that. Don't call it that.
It's in the box. I got it.
Disney's going to be in here in a minute.
Somebody's going to get offended.
What? You got it in the box? No, I know I'm coming over your house.
It might be the black guy that gets offended. Don't say that word, sir. I'm just kidding.
Only slave we should be allowed.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Right in the box.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, I'm coming.
You know what's funny? I'm almost wondering if they're starting to do this kind of stuff, not to actually sell the stuff that's marketed as Boba Fett Starship, but everybody bought something that was called Slave One when it came out. I mean,
you think that's marketing?
Obsession. You, me, and Star Wars Santa all bought vintage collection Slaves Ones at $200 a pop when we heard the name was changing.
So they really they doing Jedi mind tricks on their fans.
4D chess, man.
Why not? I'll never think of this stuff myself, man.
It's 4D chess.
I went out and bought a bunch of Boba stuff. I went out and bought a bag of t-shirts. I went out and bought a couple of what are those? Hot Wheel toy.
I got freaking Boba Fett on my channel the other day.
Yeah, that was dope. You love to see it, man. You love to see that.
He was cool.
Yeah, he was really cool.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, and I'm so happy you got that, man. My boy X-Wing is making waves.
Seriously though, like not some good, some bad. It just evens out at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. Nah, don't even want to say different, man. You're doing good. We love having you in the community. It's kind of cool because, like, when I think about the way we met, it was kind of just like we just happened. I mean, I saw you on Theory's live stream and everything, but like, I don't know.
Bro, I had like 35 subscribers when you came on my channel.
Really?
It was.
So I did that. No, on this play.
Yeah,
I didn't do that at all. Trust me, me coming on your stream did nothing for your channel.
That's always why I'm gonna be there for you, though, man. I had nothing, and you're like, yeah, I'll go hang out with you on live stream. I'm like, oh. I told Mrs. X-Wing, I'm like, damn, I got a real one. Like,
yeah, man. As long as people are cool, I got one on the line. As long as people are cool, I'll come on anyone's stream as long as you're cool, man. Like,
yeah,
you know, I don't care about numbers at all. But I mean, pretty soon you're gonna be bigger than me, so you know, I'm gonna be begging you to come on the show. Let me get to the you are, bro. Don't worry about it. Let me get to this super chat really quick before we get into tonight's topics. Easton, haha, with that $2.99. Yeah, $2.99 makes me feel so fine. He said, "Hey, ABJ, sorry for missing the recent streams. Hey, man, don't worry about it.
Yeah, actually, you know, sorry, just be better."
He said, "Don't be sorry, be better." Is that what you said?
Yeah.
He just got the best avatar.
This man never comes back to his stream anymore. No, it's fine.
Easton haha got the best avatar known to mankind history
because it's black. No.
See, you always talking about all that race type stuff.
Nah, I'm just saying, is this the color? Isn't that not the color black?
I'm just saying, it's so elegant. It's so artistic. The way that he thought to put a black slate.
It's because it's black. Fatal. Just come on.
I've never seen an actual black person that looks like that, so it's not like about race, you know.
I know.
Can you share it? I don't know what it looks like.
It's just a black circle, literally. It's just a black circle.
Seriously?
He literally has no picture. Shout out to Renegade in the chat, man.
Renegade, never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given
time of day, because I'm a renegade. $9.99 super chat. Thank you for that, Renegade. He said, for Fatal J's epic intro to the show, calling me out. Loved it. I can't say it in his voice. He's got that awesome radio voice.
Dude, he does have it. Hold on. Let me do the Valiant Renegade voice. Except the problem is that he actually walks around and talks like this all day. It's kind of insane. You wouldn't think somebody could actually speak like this 24/7, but Valiant does a wonderful job.
Yo, that he's got a good radio voice, dude.
Dude, he's
pay me back my $2 before I beat your ass.
Oh, you owe that man $2?
Probably do.
Borrowing $2 for a cup of coffee.
Well, the only time I talked to Valiant was in the I don't even want to mention the freaking Twitter chat right now anymore, but that's the only time I'd ever spoken to him. I saw him in the Doomcock stream when he was doing the news breakdown, but then I listened to him on the Friday nights. That guy's got a freaking voice, man.
Oh yeah, he got a good voice for real.
Can you teach me?
Got a good voice, huh? You like him, Jay?
Can I learn this?
What have I done?
So shout out to the whole chat. Shout out to the people who have sent super chats already. Appreciate you all being here for the show. We're going to be talking about, well, I don't know how many of us are going to be talking about.
We're going to talk about Bad Batch.
Well, man, just for a second. But I don't know how many people are going to be talking about Black Widow because I don't know how many people have seen it yet.
I just saw it, and it was finger licking good.
Really? You think so, huh?
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
But I will say this. Don't expect Winter Soldier. Everybody coming in thinking Winter Soldier. No, it's never going to touch that.
Who's expecting Winter Soldier?
I don't know. You know, people think, okay, she don't have powers, but it's going to be a lot of, just
crazy
Olympic human being type fighting,
Well, dude, in the trailer, she was like jumping off of a falling plane and like.
Yeah,
but that's Marvel, though. You know what I mean? That's Marvel. Yeah. But because you got to make it as superhero, but non-superhero as possible. You know,
I disagree with Fatal J about this movie. I see.
It was good, but I'm not gonna say it's a classic. I'm just saying it's good.
Did you see it, Obsession?
Not yet. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
All right, so I'm not gonna spoil anything, obviously, because I'm sure a lot of people in the chat haven't seen it.
Yeah, don't spoil it, man.
You guys haven't seen it on the panel. No spoilers here. I just want to give my overall consensus, like how I felt about the movie. I don't like terribly hate the film. I just think it's very meh. Like, I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was, really good. I just thought like, eh. And there was even a few parts in there that I thought like that was kind of stupid. So,
I'm not gonna lie. I will say this, ABJ. The first quarter of the film made me think. Oh, I got some chips. Excuse me. Why y'all laughing at me? Hey, but the first quarter, I promise you, I was thinking, okay, this might be Winter Soldier type level. But then when it hit the second quarter and third quarter of the film, it started slowing down, and then it picked back up, just like all Marvels do at the fourth quarter of the film.
The pacing in the movie is really weird.
When they got, all I want to say is this. I hope it ain't spoiling, but when they got to the house, that's when the movie really slowed down.
Yeah,
there's too much dialogue, man.
You know what's interesting to me though? I think that the stuff you're talking about is actually has. I think some of the dialogue in that part of the movie was actually pretty decent. Like there's a scene, and this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. There's a scene where they're at the table, the family, and they're talking. And I just thought like that was a pretty good, scene. Like the dialogue was good, but
the dialogue was good before a Marvel movie. You don't need that much dialogue,
Oh, I agree with you. It definitely did slow down.
Because I'm not trying to watch Lifetime drama, like a Lifetime show.
Obsession, did you see it?
Not yet. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Okay, that's why we got like fucking nothing to add to this.
No, I'm cool. I mean,
I'm put like this for average moviegoer or for somebody that just want to see something dope. This is a dope movie.
Well, I mean, I've been saying this all year, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. This is Marvel's year, so they're bringing out dope shit. They're laying down stuff. Their script writing is fantastic. They're following a path that was laid out a long time ago. And they're keeping true to that.
They have phases for this kind of stuff, right? Like the Marvel thing.
This is phase 4. And phase 4 is another setup. So
I will say this though, my friend. It just still has that, it's missing that off. It's missing that last spice.
I think it's because there was no weight to it. She's already dead. So like, how are you gonna make it?
I'm not talking about the actual movie Black Widow. I'm talking about this phase that we in right now with Marvel.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I think Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. they really brought the pain hard.
I mean,
with the whole thing, with the whole 10 years.
It's just have Loki though.
But without he
don't have that same star power and charisma.
No, but the writing and the storyline does. So nobody knew what was coming with Loki.
I will say Loki is very unique. It's
Loki's
very unique.
Dope.
And I will say this. Don't expect the same type of Marvel formula with this movie too, with Black Widow. It brought some different stuff.
But so did Falcon Winter Soldier. So did I couldn't get through WandaVision.
I never finished Falcon of the Winter Soldier.
Falcon Winter Soldier was boring
but again, this is a build year for them. So although it is their year because Marvel is hitting on all cylinders and Star Wars is dragging and towing the line this year.
Did you see the trailer for What If?
Dude,
I didn't. Is it good though? I heard it was
ABJ, good. That's why I put that tweet out. I'm like, okay, trailer for What If and then Star Wars Visions. Now I get you're an anime fan, but when you look at the two side by side, dude, What If it looks epic.
You got Killmonger saving Tony Stark in the Iron Man 1 movie.
Wow, yeah, that's way different. Before we get into more of this Marvel stuff, let me just get to this super chat. Another one from Easton, with the 199. Thank you. I appreciate you, Easton. He says, Bad Batch yesterday, 6 out of 10. Black Widow, 8 out of 10. You know, I think that I almost agree with that. I would say yes, except I would put Black Widow at a 6.5.
I give Black Widow a high 7.
Everybody is dogging Bad Batch. Everybody's just dogging it.
I still haven't even watched it.
I thought it was okay.
It slowed down for me.
No, I mean,
as a Star Wars YouTuber, I still haven't even watched it, but that's because I got some sleep last night, finally.
I woke up and watched it this morning, and I dig it. I dig what they're doing. With this show, they're not doing an extension of the Clone Wars. They're showing you every question you've had about Rebels. They're answering questions.
I definitely think this show is more of an extension of Rebels than Clone Wars.
It's I've been saying it for weeks. This is the connective tissue that is going to show us how everybody got to where they're getting. Right. How did
Give
Rex
me a thumbs up when you're done talking about
it? No, I'm not even going to talk about what happened this last episode. I'm talking about stuff you got this one, but like how does Rex find the boys, right? Like all of this stuff that everybody was wondering where these people went. This show is doing a lot of connective tissue, and that's important to what's coming next.
So before we get into the Bad Batch, because I do want to talk about it, I just want to see first and foremost, well, two things. I want to see the chat because I haven't seen what you guys were saying about the Black Widow movie. If you've seen it, drop your scores for the film below. Please don't put any spoilers or anything. Just give us like your scores, what you were thinking about it, you know, what you saw. I personally think my biggest problem with this movie was the fact that it felt like a movie that should have came out years ago. It felt like a movie that probably should have came out like in the Captain Marvel slate, or maybe like around the same. I'm not saying you have to get rid of Captain Marvel. I don't particularly like that movie, but they kind of had to make it. I just felt like this movie should have come out before. And I also think, and this is not a spoiler, I feel like this movie has no real effect on the MCU overall. Like, you know how people kind of complain like that about the MCU shows we got? Like, well, it didn't seem like it really mattered. This movie definitely doesn't matter, if you ask me. Like, it really doesn't do anything for the MCU. It does something very small, and I'm not going to give away what it is. And it does, well...
It do something at the end of the movie for it.
Jay, yeah, it does. I love you, dude.
I didn't think it was anything like you know, I didn't think it was anything special, and the movie just kind of fell flat for me. I mean,
I always thought it was disrespectful though that they put out Captain Marvel before this movie. Shouldn't they give Scarlett Johansson? Scarlett Johansson been breaking
before
the pain
she died.
Before
she dies, you know, she is one of the original Avengers in this series that we're talking about, and then you're just gonna bring Marvel in and like, oh nope, now she's the She-Avenger.
They needed Captain Marvel to complete Endgame, right? Like that was a big part of.
So save Captain Marvel until that one scene at the end where she blasts through Thanos' ship. Don't put a movie out about her and then as like homework, and then she shows up.
Really think about Endgame, sir. Captain Marvel really didn't do nothing.
No, but it's still that's they needed to do her movie to introduce people to her.
I don't think so. I think make the Captain Marvel movie if you need to, but she was definitely not needed. All she really did was fight Thanos a little bit, held her on, and then boom, Robert Downey Jr., the human out of everybody, Tony Stark, the human, saved the whole universe.
Yeah,
you didn't need her.
I do think that it's good they made the movie Captain Marvel before it came out. I just think the Black Widow probably also should have came out, you know, around that same period.
If they would have got this movie,
why would you drop that movie after she's dead?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This movie should have come out before that, and
unless they're going to use this in the multiverse stuff, and that's a thing, you know. I mean, we are treading lightly on Marvel right now because Loki's about to finish exposing, you know, the next big bad villain, and that's what these shows are really doing right now. Is they're setting up for the next big bad because there isn't one right now in Marvel.
Right, and I agree with you. I wonder too, like how much this movie was affected by the fact that it was supposed to come out like last May, because I almost feel like if the movie had dropped when it was supposed to, you know, but then you know the coup started happening. But if it had have dropped then, I think it would have been more so like, okay, we just coming off the high of Endgame. this movie isn't amazing, but it's still pretty cool.
They should have dropped it right before after Infinity War. It made sense.
No, I agree with you, but
before
I'm just saying,
she died, like X-Wing just said, before she died,
right?
It would have been more powerful of a scene when we saw that in Endgame of her dying. It would have been more powerful, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I just think this movie, at the end of the day, it really just fell flat, and I think the timing of it was off. But I'm curious to see what people, the fans,
I think it was a jump off movie. So like everything that I'm seeing and everybody that's talking about it wasn't so much about Black Widow. This was a jump off movie for other characters, like her sister.
I could see that. I do think they were setting up some stuff, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Hey, BJ, I will say this though in your defense.
Mm-hmm.
It was two villains in this movie, correct?
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Chief?
Technically, yes.
the two villains that's in this wasn't that strong. Wasn't that memorable.
That's always been an MCU problem,
A real villain, when you walk away from the movie, the villain really kind of outshines the protagonist of the show.
That's how it should be.
These two villains here,
to kill.
These two villains here, you will forget about them. Trust me.
And that's the thing, because one of them, and for example, I mean, it's not a spoiler. Everyone knows Taskmaster's in it. I think Taskmaster was very,
cool.
very.
Now I don't want to watch it. Thanks, bro.
Was very, very like
you don't give away too much, bro. Leave it alone.
Well, no, I'm saying like it's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer. Like it's all over the trailer. I think that like it was very like not used enough, or like just.
I agree. They,
the
possibilities with Taskmaster, they could have really did some dope
brought the pain.
Film. Yeah, he could have been a big baddie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was supposed to be a big baddie.
There was just a lot of ridiculous stuff in the movie, in my opinion. The action. Also, both of the villains I thought had some really stupid parts. I'm not giving away what they are, but like this is just my opinion.
Did it feel cash grabby?
Don't expect a classic, just expect a good, fun Marvel movie to watch.
So that was me with like Tomorrow War. I went into it thinking like
me and my wife gonna watch that tomorrow. X-Wing. Is it
good? You haven't watched it yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I liked it.
It's dope.
So good.
I liked it.
Okay, me and my wife are gonna watch that.
From a military standpoint, the stuff that they bring with them just pisses me off to no end, but otherwise it's cool.
We'll talk about that some more. For me, it was the physics. The physics of that movie is perfect, right? Like if you're into time travel, that movie was
oh my gosh, you talking about the wormholes and stuff like that.
All the physics of that, everything that they did, I'm not giving shit away, but the science of that movie was
spot on.
Baller.
Which is funny because it's a dumb, fun action movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a summer popcorn.
Yeah,
get him, guy, get him. Get him.
It was awesome, though. It was totally awesome. Dude, Chris Pratt killed it.
Everybody
love Chris Pratt.
Everybody keeps saying it's a black guy in that reminds them of me. So I have to see.
He doesn't remind me. He doesn't remind me of you.
Everybody says, "Yeah,
he's not funny."
This guy, I swear they were watching your YouTube channel.
He's like 5'2" and ripped as hell.
No, the other guy,
the other one. He's not funny. I think Jay's way funnier than that guy.
The friend.
Yeah.
Oh, what? No,
he wasn't.
What?
Yeah, he wasn't funny.
No.
Hey, Chris Pratt is dope to me. I always felt like, and I'm not trying to segue, but I always thought Chris Pratt, if we're gonna do an Indiana Jones sequels or whatever, I always thought Chris Pratt was the one supposed to do that job.
Same.
He got that charisma, he funny, he athletic, and when you watch those Jurassic Park movies, the only thing I thought about was, man,
that is Indiana Jones.
That's Indiana Jones.
Give him a whip fedora and he's in there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Would have been a perfect Indiana Jones. You know what? I never even thought of that. He would be a perfect follow-up to Indiana Jones.
And he's already in with Disney.
His kid grows up, and that's his kid. Instead of Shia LaBeouf, we get Chris Pratt as next Indiana Jones.
Like the babies were switched at birth.
Yes. Who's Shia LaBeouf? What?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think. Look, since you said you like the Tomorrow War, I'd say if you like that movie, you'll like this Black Widow movie, because to me, this movie was just slightly better than Tomorrow War. I gave Tomorrow War like a 6. I gave it like a 6.5. So if you like that movie, I think you'll like this one.
Well,
and I'm not huge into Marvel anyway.
So. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, don't get me wrong, Marvel's awesome, but this was an original movie, not following a comic book or a pre-led path. And the fact that they science the shit out of it makes me as a fan enjoy it more, because that's one thing that they get wrong in too many times. Right. In too many, even Marvel. I mean, they kind of got it right, but they still got a couple things wrong that physics doesn't really allow if you're really into science. So
correct, right.
So I mean, this one is probably the best interpretation of time that I can think of in a modern.
Even doper than what was that movie that dropped this year? Christopher Nolan.
Tenet.
Tenet messed me up when I watched that, bro.
I need to watch it again.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. No, I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan, and I haven't seen it yet.
Man's a genius.
Hold that thought on. This is the perfect going to the future, back to the future, whatever. Because I'm still trying to I got a chalkboard and I'm trying to do mathematics.
Like the red strings going to different scenes and stuff.
Christopher Nolan is
you have to be a genius to make a film like that. ABJ, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. I still need to rewatch it. That's a movie I think you have to watch at least twice.
When you watch that movie, it's almost like he cracked the code of going back to the future. You know what I'm saying?
But look, I need to watch it twice, but I'm dumb. You might, being like a smart guy, you might get it right away. I was like, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't get it. I got
top grade in my class in astrophysics at UNR. So
I'm telling you guys, if y'all watch this movie. If y'all watch this
time travel,
if y'all watch that movie,
why am I fuzzy?
S-Wing, I promise you, if you watch that movie, it's almost like Christopher Nolan cracked the code
to time travel.
Time travel, bro.
Maybe obsession. You might fart, bro. It's watching that movie. You just be so excited, like, oh my god, it's okay.
Oh, I mean, I was like that in Tomorrow War. Like, I actually paused it because it's Amazon Prime. I paused it and I had a full I looked at my partner and I was like, yo. They did it right, and I broke down like a list of 10 things real quick, and then I was like, "Cool, you got that? We're going."
Did you see how they took the temporal complex of the lobe and started sending soldiers?
What character is that, bro? That's from a TV show.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
But yeah, it was. I totally nerded out on that, and I do. I mean, I am big into science when it comes to movies and where they mess it up.
Please watch Tenet.
Hey, another one would be funny, Jay.
Fatal J sent it for me.
It'd be so funny if we're over here gushing about how wow, he did time travel so well, and then he watches it and he's like, none of this is possible. What is going on? Yeah. This is ridiculous,
bro. George Lucas is the king. Martin Scorsese, but after it's said and done, Christopher Nolan has set the bar.
Yeah,
making films, man.
Yeah. I think his films are just too smart for a lot of people. That's why he doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
He should get what they call them Oscars. He need to get 20 Oscars for making that movie, man.
The idea with screenwriting and with writing books and novels is to try to be smarter than your smartest viewer or reader, and so
that turns a lot of people off, though.
It does, and that's the idea. Is you have to with me, I can't watch certain things because halfway through I'm like,
stupid.
Oh, here it is. Or here's the ending. Like I'll spit out the ending halfway through a movie, just because I can see the next steps before they're stepped.
I'm the same way, man. Not saying because I'm smart. I just love to write, and my writer brain is always on. And I'm like, oh, I know where they're going with that. I know where they're going with this. Because I'll just be thinking, if I was writing this, what would I do? And it's funny because a lot of the times I'm thinking, that's what I would do. But that's way too predictable. I would, but it's like, oh, that's what they're gonna
do. Right. And I think there's a lot of movies like that are intelligent, and the masses don't like them because they have to think too much. People want to go to the movies to lose their brain. They don't want to go there to use their brain.
Bro, Tenet will have your nose bleed.
Yes and no, though. I feel like that's true and it's not true. Two things can be true at once.
I think movie buffs like us, we want to go and be have an actual new experience. There's a lot of people that just want to go and watch Fast 9, So,
yeah. And I want to watch Fast 9 too because I like cars. But
I'm never gonna watch that movie. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna watch that movie.
I'm never gonna watch that either. I'm sick of those movies. Man.
I think next time, I think this is actually literally something they're talking about doing. Is I think they're gonna try and do a Jurassic Park spinoff with them. It's gotta be ridiculous.
You don't need brains when you got family.
You watching that? Them driving away from the T-Rex?
Bro, if they ride down the back of a T-Rex like that is escaping or something, I would definitely watch that, bro.
That would be ridiculous.
You don't need dinosaurs when you got family.
You know what they gonna do for Fast and Furious 10, right? You know they go into space.
They go into
space. Probably.
They go into space, bro.
Didn't they go to space in 9?
I haven't seen 9.
Yeah, they already went to space in 9.
Oh, they do. They went to space. Okay,
that's what they do. Yeah, they stuck a bunch of rockets on a car and they went to space.
Apparently, they go for just like a split, like a few minutes. I think.
I'm about to be drunk to watch something like that. I gotta be drunk to watch something like that.
That's it.
I'd have to do something else to watch it.
That's it.
This Zach's gonna help me out with that.
Tomorrow was the Romulans.
I got it.
What? Give it away.
The Romulans. Man, it's calling out Star Trek. Let me get to these super chats. Oh, one thing I want to say, and this is my I promise this is my final thoughts on Black Widow. I thought it was hilarious that this is not a spoiler, but I thought it was hilarious that Scarlett Johansson was talking about being sexualized and how women need to be treated more respectfully, which don't get me wrong, I agree with all of that. I think it's dumb that she's now starting to say that after she's been playing this character for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But this movie has like 3 shots that I can think of where literally the shot starts off on her butt and it just pans up. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, Jay, but I counted like 3 times that happened. I'm like, bro, like
I watched this movie.
I gotta go watch this movie.
No, man, I didn't. ABJ must have really been studying this movie because I didn't notice nothing sexualized. Her suit covered up her whole body.
But it's a very tight suit.
It seems
nobody
it always has been.
No, yeah, and I'm not saying it hasn't. I'm just.
It seems like this is like the most gear she's ever worn in a movie, though.
Yeah,
this right?
is
like
that's
fair.
Like in Iron Man 2, she was literally in like painted on latex and a belt.
She was. That's
right?
But you know what? That's the only time. That was the only time, though. Is in Iron Man 2.
Right. I think the rest of the time she's had more gear, but I mean, even in the previews, you see her with like a jacket and like stuff on. You know, like it seems like in this one she is the most geared up, and you know, maybe they did pan up on her butt a few times. Cool. I mean, they do that with normal movies, you know, and it probably wasn't even her ass. It was probably a stunt ass.
I'm telling you,
it's definitely hers. It's because it's not even like an action scene. It's just her walking into the room. So I'm like, bruh, like, look, I'm not saying that like I'm not taking anything away from the movie because they did that. I'm just saying it's weird for her to say those type of things. And then the movie you just shot has pictures of them panning up from like, why does the shot need to start on your butt? You know what I mean?
Totally agree, but
you got me wondering what scene that was. Now.
I feel like that's the same thing with Brie Larson. Like,
can I point something out in the chat? This is like my favorite thing I've ever seen ever on a YouTube stream.
Yeah,
Padawannabe.
I love that dude. He's
yeah. He's awesome, man.
F9 goes to space and Vin Diesel meets his intergalactic doppelganger.
Oh God, I would watch that.
I watch it.
How much money do Vin Diesel make for playing Groot?
Oh,
probably a good amount.
More than I'm going to make in the next 10 years.
Yeah,
maybe in life.
Bro, that's crazy though, because he just had like
money.
1 or 2 lines. That's it.
No, just one.
Just one. I am Groot, and then just Groot. Like
just different inflections.
They don't want to pay Vin Diesel again. They pay those lowly animators and audio people to sit there and modulate. I am Groot.
Right.
And then they just use that one line.
They paid him like 1 day of ADR and just said, okay, do it 10,000 times. So we have 10,000 ways to do this shit.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
You know, like figure it out.
That's insane.
I mean, here's the crazy thing is you got to remember where this is the magic of Hollywood. You got to remember where this dude started. This dude was a bouncer at a nightclub. Right, the right person saw him and said, "Hey, I got a movie I'm doing. You got the right body."
He said, "I don't need movies."
And
when
he's
you got
like,
"Family,
cool, I'm in."
What was his first movie? Wasn't it Pitch Black or something else?
It was something else. He did something before that. That's what. Okay. But Pitch Black is what made him. Is what made him. And then he did the first Fast and Furious as an actor, and the rest of them he is exec produced.
Dude, Imagine they do the Jurassic Park one. It's like a raptor shows up at the cookout at the end. Family.
You don't need dinosaurs when you got family. By the way, I have a brother that I've never talked about, but family.
The dude that died, somebody in the chat, how did they explain him not coming back to all this action?
Ooh.
The brother,
I don't know.
What's his name?
They didn't explain it. Fatal? Are you kidding me? It's Fast and the Furious. They don't care. They're like, don't
you know, like on the last
family.
movie, they digitized his face and then they show him driving somewhere else.
You're talking about
Paul? He doesn't come back, I don't think.
Where has Paul been? Nah, I know Paul has passed away.
They basically they wrote Paul Walker's character. They wrote Brian and his wife and kids off into the sunset.
Yeah. Oh, okay, got
That's basically they did their money and they're out. Like they're not allowed to come back. The family won't let them. Is basically the gist.
Well, it don't matter when you got family.
Yeah,
there's a lot of drama with those movies.
They're in witness protection. I mean, and they had to change a lot of stuff when Paul Walker, crashed that car. Yeah. Right when he wrecked that Porsche, that threw them all off because they were in the middle of shooting the movie.
Should have thrown better, man. That's all I'm saying.
Change the whole ending. I
mean, no love lost for Paul Walker, but
I'm sorry.
Who carried those movies like before Paul Walker died? Was it Paul Walker or Vin Diesel?
It was
Paul Walker.
It was both of them. But really, I mean, it was the story of their friendship before Paul died. And when Paul died, they had to come up with The Rock. They had to come up with John Cena because they had the whole script. Like George Lucas had his scripts up to 9. They had these written out to 10.
Dang.
They had
not like George.
You're right, because Paul Walker instead of Vin Diesel. Paul Walker was the main character.
Right, but Paul Walker was the main character, and then him and Vin Diesel. But all things aside, they had to change the last 4 scripts all the way through because Paul died in one of them.
Can I point out something I find hilarious?
Something else.
Yeah, I just want to point out something I find hilarious about that. If you're ever wondering if the Disney Star Wars trilogy is any good, just remember that the Fast and Furious movies had a plan. The Disney Star Wars trilogy did not.
That's true.
Let that sink in. Let me get to these super chats. I'm sorry. I know you guys sent them in a while ago. Easton, another $1.99. Thank you, Easton. You're helping keeping my lights on by yourself tonight. He says, end credit scene was amazingly unexpected. Talking about Black Widow. I thought it was cool. I'm not going to spoil anything. I actually thought that was like the best part about the movie. So
how are you going to just give us one end credit scene in all the Loki series so far? Like,
I think there'll be one in the last one.
Right? Like you could have done without that. You could have just wrote that in the last scene and cut it, but you got to make us watch all the credits.
Yeah, I was mad too this week.
And then I bet you everybody like me went through all of the end credits to see if there was something else.
Yeah, I definitely did.
I did too.
I was like, more alligator Loki? Is there a kid Loki in there? What's going on?
Bro,
and what was crazy, I hope I'm not spoiling it, but when they showed the end credits with the other Lokis, they didn't even last that long. They didn't even last an episode.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Those Lokis were the Loki War was dope.
Yeah, it was dope.
I enjoyed that.
Lasted for like a minute.
I mean, fight scenes are cool, John Wick, lightsabers, but that was the coolest for me. That was one of the coolest Marvel fight scenes.
I like the guy that had the bike handlebars on his head, but he looked like a Loki. He had like the bike helmet.
One of the dopest things about that episode, I'm sorry, my dog is barking, but Throg being in the jar, dude. I thought that was the sickest Easter egg ever.
What did I miss?
Thor in the jar.
The little frog. Throg.
Oh yeah, when they were going down.
Yeah.
Oh, was that him in the jar?
I thought in the jar. You didn't know that?
That was just a miniature Thor.
No,
it's the Loki from the alligator Loki.
Yeah, I thought that was a miniature Thor too. I thought that was
so Throg is Frog Thor. So in the comic books, in the comic books, universe. Frog got Thor powers for whatever reason, and he became Throg.
And an alligator became a Loki.
Yeah,
if you see
Throg's pretty awesome though.
Throg and
alligator
a Loki.
A Loki, yeah.
If you If you go back and watch it, it's Throg, dude. He's jumping, trying to get out. It's so awesome, man.
Well, see,
That's
I thought
funny.
it was a mini Thor trying to like a shrunken Thor by Loki trying to jump out to get the hammer.
He is shrunk, but he's
wasn't
a
sure if
frog.
If it was the frog, I didn't know the frog was trying to get out and get the hammer.
Yeah. I wonder if he gets it, would he be worthy?
Hey, but I thought
big Mjolnir he's trying to get.
I thought the Thor with the suit. I mean, the Loki with the suit. I thought he was gonna be like the main villain, but he was weak.
Dude,
that was good storytelling, dude.
The alligator.
That was good storytelling. He's like, I'm taking over, and like, like, nope. And then as old Loki's walking away, he's like, we're never gonna change. This is always who we're gonna be, because they always turn on each other. I'm like, that was nice.
Kind of like Sith
storytelling.
I like at the end that they didn't, right? Like those 4 Lokis are those 4 Lokis are changing it, or 5 with Sylvie are trying to change the end mantra of who Loki really is, you know? I thought that was super cool.
Where do you we'll explore, well, let me get to these super chats, and I want to ask you guys a question about that, what you just said.
I got a question too.
$14.99 from Matt Rissman.
Grand Moff Rissman.
He says, I like that. He says, have a great stream. Peace and love. All peace and love to you as well.
That's our Empire leader over at the Hangar Bay. That's Grand Moff Rissman.
Okay, Grand Moff. I appreciate you coming through, man, showing your support. Fat Steven Seagal.
What up, Fat Steven?
The Crisco Corpse.
Great name.
I love that, man. That's funny. He says, I heard koalas are Sith in disguise. Is this true?
It's possible.
I don't know, but I want it to be. Search your feelings. You know this to be true, Jay.
That would be an evil Ewok.
I just have a quick question. Mobius, right? the Luke Wilson, ain't his name Luke Wilson?
Luke, no, Owen Wilson. Luke is his brother.
Oh, Mobius?
I always switch one. Yeah, Mobius. How did he get the thing to where you can go to another dimension? How did he get that bag?
The temp pad?
It's because Chick Loki brought it.
Yeah, she stole it from the judge.
When she self-pruned, right. She had it in her hand
before she killed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wasn't that plot kind of awkward to you? That instead of killing people, they took them to the end of time? How do that work?
Not really.
No, because if you're going to store your garbage, where are you going to store your garbage?
Take it to the dump.
Take it to the dump. Dumps at the end of time.
But wouldn't the end of time still dictate what's happening?
We don't know yet.
No, because you got to think about the way that this multiverse, this sacred timeline is being outed. Think about
us down.
Think about if you had an endless amount of strings, right? And you were braiding those strings. Where is the point where it doesn't really matter? At the beginning where you're tying those strings, and that's where they send all the junk. That's where everybody goes into the void right before whoever's braiding time. That's how you have to look at it.
I'm already gone.
I'm already gone too.
Dude, it's smart, man.
And he explained it well too, but I just didn't get it.
No, right, I got it.
Whoever's creating the sacred timeline is sitting there braiding time to his specification.
Okay,
right?
Look, I understand in the middle anything can happen.
Right.
But shouldn't the beginning and the end just not change?
No, because the end is ever changing. Right? Because there is no end, because the person at the end is continuing to write the score that is.
I see what you're saying.
Right. And so what place better than right before or right after that time is being created to store your garbage in a void between you and what you're creating?
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the guy who's writing this is the Rick and I don't know his name, but
Morty.
Yeah, works on Rick and Morty. And
that explains everything. Then.
Justin Roiland?
Yeah.
Goes to show that he's a really good writer because
he's a good writer.
He understands time. That's the great thing is Rick and Morty dives deep into like teleportation and time multiverse and all that. And he's really good at weaving that shit together.
What I like is that on the surface, if you were just to watch that show or someone who just saw a trailer for it would just think it's some silly, adult cartoon. But at the end of the day, he also he knows time. He knows, science.
So you look at that and you're like, oh, this is a parody of Back to the Future. Cool, right? Like that's what I think. I think Doc Brown would fly, right? Whenever I see the preview of something, it's like, oh, what did Doc and Marty get into today? Right. But it's really super deep into dimensional theory and time and
creating rifts in the time space.
Yeah, and time dilation and all this crazy shit that you really, unless you really understand science, you just think it's kind of funny, haha. But if you really dive into it, you're like, holy shit, this dude knows what the hell's going on here. And that's why Loki is so great, because this dude that's played with time over all of these years with Rick and Morty gets to come here and do it with Loki. What better place than the god of mischief to play with time, right? And introduce Kang, right? Because that's what's coming. Kang the Conqueror's coming the last episode.
That was my question too. Do you guys think, besides Kang, do you think we're going to get a Thor appearance?
I'll also be right back, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
I think we could get. I think this would be, if it was the way that I'm thinking, I feel like this could be the starting off platform for Lady Thor.
Right. Now, is Lady Thor a big thing in the comic books? Because I don't keep up with Marvel that much.
Yeah, I mean it's written there. They wouldn't be going that direction if it wasn't written. But they're into Natalie Portman being Thor. What a great opportunity to tease that than this multiverse show that they've created here with Loki.
Oh, Lady Thor. I'm still, of course, Lady Thor is a big thing.
Right.
I'm thinking about Lady Loki or whatever. Name is.
I honestly don't know if the Sylvie character is legit. I know all of the other Thors we've seen. I know Kid Thor, Alligator Thor, Old Man Thor, Muscle Thor. We've seen all of those guys. I can't remember if there's a Sylvie Thor anywhere, a Lady Loki, so to speak. But for me, this would be the prime opportunity to introduce Natalie Portman as Thor. What better place than the multiverse with Loki, right?
Now, I know whenever Lady Thor is in the picture, that means Thor doesn't have his hammer. Am I right?
That, technically, I mean, it depends on how they do it, because everybody's.
I think that'd be interesting though to see him without his hammer. See how he operates. I
think we would, because if it's a gender reversal in that universe, right? If everybody that was male is female in that numbered universe, right? Then Thor would be a lady and Sylvie would be a girl, or Loki would be a girl too, right? So everybody would gender switch in that universe, right?
There's another thing too that I was wondering. This show made me really think about Asgardians. Like I never really understood how Asgardians work, because is Asgardians, or I know they're not human. And people say they're gods, but they more like aliens, right?
Yeah, they're to us humans. They would be looked at as gods because they don't die. They live exceptionally 1,500 years. They have these long lifespans.
But what is Thor without his hammer? Is he just like basically Captain America, or just a little bit stronger than Captain America?
Because Valkyries are just Asgardian trained, guards. I mean,
if we're looking at
that's what I'm saying,
comics,
though. But that's what I'm saying. Look, I'm just talking about MCU because comics get too deep.
The comics is like Superman,
like Valkyrie. Is she a superhuman, or is she just very skilled as a warrior?
She gets. You see her get beat up pretty good, and I think all Asgardians as a race have a superhuman quality that they age in different ways than humans.
Well, see, I know they age differently, but like we never just really peeped out Thor without the hammer, because the hammer is what make him fly. The hammer.
We saw him in Thor 3 without it, and Odin told him like the thunder has always been in him. It's just basically the Mjolnir is just a channel for it. So because he lost Mjolnir in that movie.
Yeah, because he fought Hulk without the hammer, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and he fought him without the hammer in Avengers too, the first one, right?
Well, and the thing is he fought the original Thor. He got his hammer taken away, so that was Thor without his hammer, technically, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Thor is like on a Superman level.
Yeah.
I don't know about an MCU, but I mean, in the comics, he's done maybe even more ridiculous stuff than Superman. So
I know that, but what I'm just saying, I'm trying to put him on a level because it seems like Thor always have the hammer in the movies.
Well, the hammer is what makes him. The hammer gives him flight initially.
Yeah, give him flight.
Like, but once his original hammer gets destroyed, he realizes that he doesn't need it to do all of these things. So the axe that he gets at the end of Endgame, the axe doesn't give him the power. The energy that channels through him causes him to fly.
Because he got the lightning and all that stuff.
Right.
And then like Loki, what is his power? He transforms into other stuff, right?
Here's the brilliance of this show that they've shown us is that the true multiverse, all things are possible, right? So everything has been done in a different universe. And the great thing they've done with Loki and they showed with Sylvie is Sylvie didn't get taught by the mother like our Loki did. So our Loki has certain magical powers that Sylvie does not, right? So Sylvie didn't get trained by the mother that was a witch to do all these cool things. She learned enchantment over time. So she doesn't have all the same skills that our Loki does because he got taught by his mother who was a witch.
Yeah, but you know what?
Technically, though, this Loki ain't our Loki. Our Loki died in Endgame, right?
Right. But this Loki is the closest variant to our Loki that we know.
It makes me wonder if Sylvie came in contact with the Enchantress, and that's how she learned her abilities. Because she even kind of looks like Enchantress, you know, the blonde hair, and the green glowing eyes. So it was very like. At first, I thought that's where they were going with this. That she's not actually a Loki; she's Enchantress. But I think she is, you know, a Loki.
No, she gotta be a Loki, man. I mean, my lady and I, we were laying there and we were watching it, and it was funny too because that scene comes up, and I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, so the girl's stronger than the guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like she's badass, dude. Like, get over yourself. She's badass, man." Yeah. I thought it was cool. I guess some people just can't get over.
Here's the reason I think she is a Loki and not the Enchantress is the scene where they're connecting and they're like falling in love. That's what created the event that led them to them. And so if
we're talking about the Enchantress from Suicide Squad,
no, that's what's her name?
That's DC.
Her name. That's DC. That's not Enchantress. What is her name in that?
No, her name is Enchantress in DC.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay, so yes,
that's why I got a little confused. Like I said, I'm not a big DC Marvel guy. I do love it, but
the thing is like that spike wouldn't have happened if she was the Enchantress and just a normal woman. It had to be a Loki falling in love with a Loki that created that huge spike to come find them in the wasteland.
Right. You know, I agree. I was saying when they first met, I was wondering, I was like, is she Enchantress? Because, you know, she was enchanting people in the blonde hair. But yeah, no, obviously I agree.
She also has the same green magic hands that Loki's do, though, when she does stuff.
Right, but Enchantress does in the comics as well.
Okay. And I like your idea of her meeting the Enchantress and the Enchantress teaching a young girl who has magical abilities to do that, right? Like that would be an awesome spinoff. But for me, that's why she doesn't have all the cool powers that like the kid Loki does, because the mom is the one that taught all of that magical shit. That's why she says when she meets Fat Man Thor, she's like, you can't fool me. I was raised by witches. Like
Fatal J loves chips and staring at his phone. I know that much from this stream.
I think I went too deep down the rabbit hole.
No, you're good. No, yeah, I'm glad you're giving us some background information.
That's just what I was laughing at earlier. I'm sorry, Fatal. I wasn't laughing at you, but like somebody was talking and you're just like,
I've understood.
I'm like, I love this guy.
It took me a few years to understand because like I can literally just walk into a room and people bust out laughing, and I understand. I understand. I'm serious. It's been happening to me ever since I was a kid. So I understand that's the reason why I'm here is to make people laugh like that. You know, so it is what it is, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that means you're a beacon of positivity and laughter and brightness.
I don't know if it's some kind of I don't know if it's some kind of energy to come off me or what, but I'm glad to have it. You know,
this man should be a stand-up comedian, man.
There's definitely some kind of degaff energy around you right now that I just love.
Yeah, man.
Fatal J's hilarious.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
I do hope
he said you just got that aura.
Aura.
Yeah. But yeah, I honestly think Loki is carrying Disney Plus right now, in my opinion, just because I don't think I'm not going to go into Bad Batch, like how I feel, because I say it like every stream. I'm curious though, for those who saw the episode, like what were you thinking of it? Do you think I know you ain't seen it, Fable.
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole season.
I think it was dope. This episode was dope. I got excited seeing what we saw. Like there's certain things that are described in the Star Wars universe that you're like, all right, I want to see how that happened. And that's what Bad Batch is doing. They're not giving us a lot of craziness that people are expecting, but they are giving us a lot of stuff that we are going to need going forward, I think.
Okay. I can agree with that. I thought the episode was cool. I think it was great. And I didn't think it was spectacular. I just thought it was cool. It wasn't bad. Did you see it, X-Wing? You probably stayed up and did a... Oh, you didn't?
No, we were supposed to do Evil Ewoks, and 80 Edits hit me up, and he's like, hey, we're going to put it off for 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, my God, sleep. Please. Yes, thank you, God, because I'm working like 11 hours a day.
Oh, man.
And to like come home, and then obviously on my channel we do the Boomer Council with Obsession and 2 Star Wars Nerds, and then I get a break for like 4 or 5 hours, and then at 11 o'clock we start the stream, and then 12 o'clock we watch the episode, and then we do the after stream, and it's like 1:30 in the morning. I gotta wake up at like 5:30 and then go back to work.
Hardest working man on Star Wars.
I'm like, dude, hey, look, if you want to take a break, just take a break. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm like, you know what? I worked all day. I came home. I got to talk to the homies. Like, I'm good. I'll watch it when I'm good and settled and in my bed. And then I can talk about it.
There you go. I don't blame you, man. God works hard in real life and on his channel. So shout out to X-Wing, man. This guy's working hard.
No, don't you know I'm a piece of garbage? Ask anybody.
That is
3
true.
million subscribers. I'm a terrible person.
I heard it.
That is true. Matt Ristman, I missed this super chat. I'm so sorry, Matt. Thank you for the $4.99. He probably left the stream. Like, I've never seen this guy another super chat. He just ignores them. I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
He's trying to recruit people to the Empire on the Discord.
I see that. He says, I forgot to say, long live the Empire.
Shameless.
I tried to say it with a little
shameless
imperial accent.
But it benefits ABJ. So, hey, keep promoting. Throw another one.
I do appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the entire chat. Before we get out of here, I want to talk about Star Wars Visions. My dogs are growling at each other because one dog is trying to eat the other dog's food, and she's like,
"It's because you said visions. That's why they're growling at each other."
Don't do that, man. Don't do that. So, X-Wing, I already know what you're gonna say because you don't like anime at all.
I'm not Japanese.
What's that gonna do with it? I'm the farthest thing from Japanese. And
it's a very inherently Japanese art style, which is
anime.
Totally fine. What's that?
I say, yeah, well, it is anime, so
yeah. So like people who don't enjoy like Impressionism era art wouldn't go to the Louvre and pay money to go do that. You know what I mean? So it's just something that doesn't resonate with me. What's different now is that it's now tied into a Star Wars story, which is totally different. I would never go watch Cowboy Bebop or
it's a great.
I think that's the only one I can name. There's Cowboy Bebop and
Dragon Ball, Naruto.
Dragon Ball, bro.
Yeah, and like Naruto. See, and like somebody who was out of it. The Naruto kids when I was in middle school. That like
wait, how old are you?
Middle school, high school, 30.
Oh, then you were growing up when Dragon Ball was just getting huge in America.
So yeah, I guess I should. So I got 11 days until I'm 30. I'm still in my 20s.
I'm 35.
I'm 40.
But the kids with the running like this.
Oh yeah, that's from Naruto because they were doing that when I was going to school.
Yeah, they were like, we're gonna rush Area 51 because we got Naruto speed. I'm like, no, you're a human and you can't do that. It's just the whole thing kind of weirded me out. I've never been a fan of it because most of the people that I knew that loved anime were like crazy weird.
Anime.
No, not nerdy.
Weird.
I'm super cool with nerdy, just weird.
I mean, I love anime.
Weird. I mean, Dragon Ball is probably the. I mean, and I'll get stoned for saying this, but Dragon Ball is some of the best.
You already are stoned.
Japanese storytelling, right? Like
I don't know about that.
Oh, dude, the Goku, the first Dragon Ball,
Dragon Ball Z.
No, I'm talking about the Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT.
I got something to add too.
Fire.
I don't mess with Dragon Ball GT that much.
Oh, well, see, and like now I'm getting to know people who are like, okay, like I've spoken to you, you're a normal person, and you're like, no, this is really good anime, you should watch. I'm like, okay, now I'm open to it.
Well, and it's so much more accessible now because even when you were saying like when you were in middle school, even when I was in high school, the to get Dragon Ball, you got subtitled, horrible dubbed Dragon.
Right. Backstroke of the West, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
See,
dude,
we got Toonami. That's how I got on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, the dubs on Toonami.
If it wasn't for Toonami, I would have known anything about Dragon Ball.
Right, same. And this was a good 5 to 10 years before that when I was getting hip to like the original Dragon Ball when it still had subtitles.
And you know what blow people mind, Obsession? Dragon Ball Z came out in the early 90s.
I know. Yeah. I was 10, dog.
People think it just came out. It came out in the 2000s or something.
Dragon Ball, the Cell series of Dragon Ball, I was watching when I was like a freshman in high school.
Right? Like I want to say those premiered in Japan like the late 80s, didn't they?
It probably was the 80s.
But back then the internet wasn't hot. I mean, the internet wasn't around until like 94 when it started bopping. When AOL hit in 97, 95, 96,
dude, AIM Instant Messenger.
Yeah, dude, like that was hot. When you're hearing
I used to love it.
Like you're hearing all that phone
dial
up. I still remember my username for AOL Instant Messenger. It was Gag Up Taco Bell 12.
Well, and your mom's yelling at you. Get off the internet! I gotta use the phone.
Dude, I remember those days.
That was when
my dad picked me up by my throat because I was talking to a girl on the phone and I was using the internet at the same time, and it was like 1999, I think. I was using both. When you could do both, it was like the first time you could use both. You could do landline and you could use the internet. And I was talking to this girl. Hey, if you're still out there, Emma, I love you. My dad came in and he was like, "What are you doing?"
She just comes in and starts flipping your tables.
I was the man in high school when I first got internet. Y'all remember Napster?
Oh yeah.
LimeWire.
I got me a burner. And I was making so many CDs for people. I almost got in trouble. They told me stop selling that stuff up here. The principal said I was making too much money. I was making playlists for everybody. I was the man.
Make playlists for the girls. Like, baby, I make you some
custom CDs. $5.
Hey, baby,
I love you, but I'm gonna need that $10. Thank you.
Hey, you, girl. I made you this mixtape, girl. And this is back when you could like put your own like voiceover before the CD. So like,
I
made you this CD, girl. I was thinking about you when I made it.
DJ X-Men.
I hope you think about me later when you're making it and give me that call. Here's Bobby
DJ, and then she banged your best friend to the mixtape you made.
Hey, but y'all know who ruined it? Y'all know who ruined Napster for everybody? Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? It was them?
It was of course the drummer. It was
like they were getting ripped more than anybody. Yeah. And then LimeWire came around. That's when we got MP4s.
You just what you what I said.
What'd you say?
I said, of course, I said the white man. Came in and
got us.
Motherfucker.
It was the drama though.
It was destroyed everything. No, I'm playing.
Fine, ABJ, we ruined everything, all right?
No, it's a joke.
Look
if you
man.
want to get down on some anime, Dragon Ball's a great
show. Really.
You know why Americans love Dragon Ball Z? I cracked the code. Everybody that was WWF fans, WCW fans, all Dragon Ball Z is a big WWF match every episode with power.
Battle Royale.
Yep.
It's drama. That's the thing I can't get into about anime is it's drama. Like I don't watch drama. Like my fiance will watch Jersey Shore. She'll watch what's the other one? The Bachelorette and The Bachelor. That's what I feel like anime is. It's just drama.
Some are more.
It is. I mean, and Dragon Ball does toe the line of like, especially when you start getting into GT and you get into the kids, it becomes a different thing. Like when you're watching Dragon Ball Z, it's just really about Gohan and the kid growing up to be, but it's very Jedi. I mean, really,
when Gohan grew up. When Gohan grew up, they made him wag.
Yeah, Akira Toriyama really messed that up.
They said, like, I would have took Gohan over Goku if Goku would have passed the torch, but they made him a wimp when he grew up.
Well, you know why, right? I don't know. It was because he was supposed to end the series at the Cell Saga. Yeah. It was supposed to go out with Gohan, basically being the next Goku.
Majin Buu was the last villain that they were supposed to do.
And Padawan just anime are literally soap operas. Like, but Star Wars is a space opera.
Well, but
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but it's very much the same because only certain people have the chi, basically, to be, or if you're from another planet. But like from Earthlings, only certain Earthlings have the chi to perform,
and none of them by the later seasons can do anything.
It's all about aliens.
Yeah, but by the time you get to Super, everybody got a tree.
Yeah. No, but I just feel like, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, Obsession, but I feel like this is what I heard originally, because he'd been doing it since Dragon Ball. Mm-hmm. This was the second series, Dragon Ball Z. He originally wanted it to end with Goku becoming the Super Saiyan, defeating Frieza, but of course, it was such a phenomenon. People, they were like, you gotta keep going. So then he did Cell, and he had Gohan really becoming of age and being like the next, and then he wanted to end it. They're like, no, gotta keep going. So he's like, all right, we'll do Majin Buu.
Yeah, the Cell Saga is the best saga though.
Yeah,
I think I like the Frieza saga the best. That's just me.
Well, but the Cell Saga is good. Really, the ending is the best of the Cell Saga.
Fuck are you talking about? I literally don't know anything that you're saying right now.
We'll get back on topic, man. Because
I know nothing that you're saying.
Basically, the Cell series and the Majin Buu series were supposed to be the end. And then they went on to like Super Saiyan level 2 and Super Saiyan level 3, and shit just got out of control. It's the perfect example of what we keep saying about maybe George Lucas is it's time to get out of the kitchen, right? Yeah, you've cooked enough. You've created the cuisine. Come in and like dabble in the kitchen once in a while, but you've done your time, right? And this is a perfect example of you should have stopped at the Majin Buu series, because a lot of people like Super and GT, but really
is Buu the pink thing?
Yeah, Buu is the pink thing.
I hate Buu.
So that's the Dragon Ball that I've seen.
No,
that's not the best.
I saw a big fat pink thing, and then
that's where you messed up.
Super buff pink thing.
Well, he evolves, and that's what a lot of Dragon Ball is about, is the evolution of the fighter and the person. And so
if you start there, you'll hate Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Majin Buu Saga is like the worst one.
If you want to get into it, watch the Cell series.
Cell Saga.
I think the Frieza series.
He ain't gonna watch it anyway. But I'm trying to let me
Jay hit it on the nose. Man. He ain't gonna do it anyway.
And you know what? To be honest, watching Vegeta squirm like a little bitch while a kid turns Super Saiyan was dope, right? The prince can't get.
I am the prince of all Saiyans.
Yeah, and he can't get there. Like that for me was the best like poetry in Dragon Ball Z.
How can this a child?
I gotta ask Black Dragon in the chat because he's an old timey boy. Do you like Dragon Ball Z? He's probably gonna. And I feel like I want like one ally in this fight, and I feel like he's totally gonna let me down right now.
Now watch me segue this back. When it comes to Star Wars vision, I think that's perfect for the Star Wars universe, and I'm gonna tell you why. Just like Obsession was talking about, if you can keep writing and keep carrying on the series, eventually things are going to get stale. But I think this Star Wars vision thing is going to be dope because this is a standalone story. They're standalone stories, right?
Yeah, they're not canon either.
Those type of stories always blow the freak up because it's not attached to anything. Fans won't get mad. Fans won't get sad.
Oh, they'll still get mad. You're giving fans.
Fans are always going to get mad.
They're going to get pissed.
It doesn't matter what you do.
One of those stories. You remember that X-Wing anime that's always floating around on YouTube, and that's just like the perfect X-Wing standalone non-canon story I ever seen come from Star Wars.
Yeah, it still kind of pissed me off though.
Hey, let me ask you this.
X-Wing is like a purist. He wants the pure Star Wars. He doesn't want none of this washed down Jack and Water. He wants.
No, I just want I want more human stories, right? So I want to hear the stories, but I don't want to see like Red 5 checking in. And then they like cuts into helmets and all this different stuff. Like it's like, dude, just tell the story.
It doesn't happen in every anime. I feel like. Well, let me ask. No, actually, let me ask Jay and Obsession this because X-Wing doesn't like anime. Have either of you seen Demon Slayer?
No.
You've never seen Demon Slayer? What? Yo, let's kick this man out of here.
It's always some crazy ass name. Like it's not some cool thing. Demon Slayer 85000 Cowboy Bebopping.
Honestly, I have bobbed and weaved through anime. So there's some stuff, and now that you've told me, I'll watch anything.
Watch it, dude.
The only thing I don't do is I don't do scary shit because I am an amazing breed of sissy.
Oh no, it's not scary.
So no, I'm just saying like my genre of like movies and stuff. Like I can't do like horror movies. They really take my imagination.
Oh my god, Obsession! We are doing a live stream watching X-Wing scariest movies.
No,
have you seen it, Fatal? You seen Demon Slayer?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you got your new member.
I think I'm about to get to that. I think it's one of the best.
Yeah, I saw it. I'll get to it.
No, I just want to say this.
I'm just a famous YouTuber, so I guess I'll just get there when I get there.
I think it's one of the best animes. Like, even though they've only done one season, it's one of like the best animes I've ever seen. Which is
it's like a horror anime?
No. So in Japanese
culture, there are some animes that are dark.
Yes, he probably heard demon and thought horror.
It's like a zombie show. It's like a zombie show, man.
Kind of.
The demons are like zombies in my opinion.
I think they're more like just monsters.
That's the other one I heard of. Attack on Titan. That looks cool.
That's a cool show.
That's cool. My show, bro. Attack on Titans made me shed tears on some of the episodes.
I never.
Fatal, no.
No, man. I'm serious,
please,
man. And
no.
look, I'm not the type of dude to cry in movies, but I'm telling you, Attack on Titans changed my freaking life, man.
Attack on Titans pretty great, man.
Bro, that stuff that's like Game of Thrones in anime form, bro. Do you like Game of Thrones?
I don't know about all that, but it is really good. Man.
Well, I'm saying it.
I like Game of Thrones all the way up until the end, and I'm like, damn.
When people ask me what are my favorite animes of all time, no story beats Berserk. And
I still haven't seen that.
Bro, Berserk. After this show, watch Berserk on YouTube. Not the new version, but the old version. It'll change your life, bro. And Attack on Titans, keep watching the X-Wing. It'll make you love anime.
I need to watch.
What was that one that came out the other day? Was it called Invincible or something like that? The guy was like ripping everybody's heads off and killing them and doing all kinds of crazy shit.
That's not anime.
Technically an anime, no.
That's not anime, but that's
it looked kind of anime. It looked awesome. I was like, damn, I could get behind this. This is a cartoon I could watch.
That's American. The guy who made Walking Dead made that.
Watch that show though. You'll love it too.
Black Dragon. The only anime that I watched was Star Blazers.
Black Dragon. I never even heard of that.
He's a Echo Base Network guy.
Oh, okay, dude.
But you know what? You ain't gonna watch it because you don't like anime. I'm just saying you don't.
So are any of you guys gamers?
Oh, dude, yeah, my series.
Nah, bro, I've never even.
Did you
played a game?
EA made a huge. They were doing something else, but they made a huge push on cloud-based gaming versus console-based gaming, and the processing that you can run on cloud-based gaming opposed to console-based gaming is crazy, and that the new era of games is starting.
Yeah, it's going to be cloud. Yeah, the cloud is like the future of gaming.
That they can
so you're going to stream your games, basically.
Right.
I mean, basically you do
as
now.
Opposed to using a hard drive, you just stream your games from the cloud.
But the stuff that they can do, not having to put a full format on your device, is supposed to. They're taking the next jump in evolution in gaming.
Because
what is it called again, sir?
It's called the Oasis.
EA.
Yeah, they're like cloud streaming games, and they think they're going to be able to do way more, which I'm sure they will be able to. Xbox is, and here's the thing: a lot of people give Xbox crap because like the games just aren't on the level of like the Sony exclusives. But Xbox is definitely prepared. Like Microsoft, like sees what the future is, and they said we've got a lot of money. Let's start getting ready. Their cloud infrastructure is great. They're
I gotta love
getting all the services together.
I got a love and hate relationship with Xbox because before my Xbox got red ringed, I love the fact that you could play CDs while playing your game. Bro, I'm just saying.
Are you talking about the three? You said Red Ring of Death and playing CDs?
Bro, I was so pissed off.
That was 15 years ago, Fatal.
I don't care. PS4 ain't never did that to me.
He holds grudges.
PS2 and PS3 never did that to me. When I got
PS3 had some yellow light problems though.
That was rare though. They was doing this frequently with the Xbox 360.
Yeah, the red ring was pretty bad. It was.
Bad.
I had PlayStations all the way up.
I never bought anything Microsoft Xbox ever again after that.
To be fair, they fixed it and they haven't had any more problems like that.
So the word is that EA is bringing out a new first-person shooter Star Wars game.
Ooh.
That's
I thought it was supposed to be an open world game.
No. That's
Ubisoft.
That's Ubisoft. EA
is Ubisoft and Criterion, I think.
Well, no, EA is Respawn. EA and Respawn did Jedi Fallen Order and all the
right.
But
Ubisoft and Criterion are making the open world one, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you guys know, I used to work for Ubisoft, and I'm very worried about that game. I don't know any inside information. I just know what I know about the people that work at Ubisoft makes me worried they won't do the game justice. I'll just put it that way.
Are they woke as fuck out there or what?
They are woke. But they're also, don't get me, these people are really cool and they always treated me really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think they treat their employees great, but they're very, like any company, super money driven.
Oh yeah.
And
it's called a company.
No, I get that. Look, I get that. It's a business. But in my opinion, these smaller companies making games, a lot of times it's almost like when you watch an independent film and you're like, oh man, Hollywood's not making anything like this.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has become like that Hollywood corporate, in my opinion, where it's just throw it out and hope it sticks, right. And we're going to buy it.
Standard is social media kind of shit.
That's what I'm worried about with the game.
I can tell you that there's 2023 is going to be a huge Star Wars gaming year because that's the official year.
So yeah.
Exclusivity runs out. I'm spending the next year designing a game.
PC.
A game. Oh yeah. I've got.
It's like Pokemon Go, except you're in fucking Star Wars. It's amazing.
By the way, they're going to totally demonetize this stream. I'm just saying.
Point being.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
It's I'm seriously aggressively working on putting out and starting small gaming company to specifically target Star Wars in 2023. That's my goal right now. Is all of the money that I am currently generating from any monetization that I have is directly going into putting people to work and creating a game that is a prelude to a larger game.
Let me find out that Star Wars obsession is out here making big moves.
Trying. Why not? Look,
so what is the goal? We can ask.
Look, if Josh and Theory are trying to make lightsabers on the side and create another business based on their love for Star Wars, all companies start small.
Josh and who?
Mark.
Mark and who?
And Theory are starting a lightsaber company. They're trying to manufacture their own style of lightsabers. That's what they've been working on for a while together.
Oh,
my
that's
thought
cool,
is,
man.
Gaming culture right now. I know people who have made games and apps and all that stuff. Small business is, like you said, independents make sometimes better Star Wars right now than Disney. Look at Bucketheads. Look at Theory's fan fiction stuff, right? Like even his Vader movie. And so these guys are making better content.
Why are you laughing at me, ABJ?
These guys are making better content than Disney's putting out right now. And so why can't the same hold true for gaming companies, right?
So is this a mobile game? What kind of game is
this?
We'll
get into it in the backstage. I'll talk to you.
Okay, yeah, all right. I can't let this man.
I don't want to give it to the world, but
right.
There's a lot of this is actually a very large step down from a bigger thing that I wanted to do. So there's legs to what I have planned over the next couple years, and to get to 2023 and have a game ready to present would really be the dream.
Well, we'll talk about it behind the scenes, man. I'll do whatever I can to help,
cool.
advertise it.
I'm hiring. Yeah. It's all going to be freelance. It's all going to be, off, not hiring as a full-time job. It's going to be work at your pace, get stuff done, but we're trying to get a beta out. I'm trying to get a beta out before the end.
That makes the millennials happy. Dope. What do you mean work at your pace?
Mm-hmm. Work at your pace?
Absolutely, dude.
I work 1 day a month now. Yeah, that's cool. Dude. That's really awesome.
And I'm trying, I got a couple of resumes for a couple of interns right now that are just coming out of college that don't have jobs, and hey, build me something. I'll give you cash. Like, you don't have a job, use this as your calling card, because it's going to be bigger than people think.
I got a boot school guy.
I believe in you, man. Look, I tell people all the time, I feel so many people never do that thing. Like, I would have started YouTube 2 years ago, but I always was like, no one's going to watch it. I'm not going to grow. I honestly thought it would be great if I had 1,000 subs in a year. That's what I thought. And look at me. It isn't bad. I'm not saying because everyone kind of grows, differently. But if I hadn't have started, I still be at 0 subs. So that's what I'm saying. You just never, you gotta believe in yourself and push for your stuff, man, because you don't never know where it'll go. You just never know.
Well, if you can't bet on yourself, and if you can't put yourself in a position to win, who's gonna, right? Because ain't no one giving you a leg up nowadays. No one's giving you anything.
Hey, ABJ, look, here's the deal. When you message me and I got that 3 mil, and you're like, hey, shout out ABJ, and I'd be like, who the fuck is ABJ? Just don't get mad at me, okay? We'll be friends forever. I promise. Okay.
It's that explain, dude.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. Look,
I'm actually not at all.
No. I'm just. I know. Anyway, we'll move on from that. But no, that's another thing too. Is I always tell people, I don't know where this channel's gonna go. If I ever do get big, man, I'm never going to forget people that, been on the streams with me right now when I had 13,000 subscribers. So I got 80,000 subscribers one day. I'm not gonna forget that.
Can I just say this is probably the dopest thing I've seen in days.
I'm not gonna forget you when you hit me up with 35 subscribers, ABJ.
And just so you all know, I think this is probably the most fun thing I've seen on Star Wars is that Dave Filoni has his own toy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he got his own.
Sorry, had to put that out there, but yeah,
that was pretty dope.
Cool.
P. Davidson said,
that thing's going to be worth money someday.
I'm grabbing at least one.
Yeah, is it on pre-order somewhere?
I'm gonna look, but no matter, I don't care if I gotta beat some old lady for it in the street. I'm getting me some Dave Filoni. Toy.
I don't care if I gotta beat Fatal J for it. I'm getting.
Bro, you don't have to beat me. I'll give it to you. I'm not that much of a fan of Dave Filoni.
I don't care. This is the only present your grandson wanted. I'm walking out of Walmart with that thing.
Okay, seriously, I gotta go. I gotta leave.
All right, man. Good seeing you.
I gave you everything I had, man. I'm sorry. It's the time I had. It's been an hour and a half. That's what I had.
No, it's no problem, man. We're actually about to get out here in a little bit. I just want to say, and you can go explain. I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you. I really didn't think you were going to be able to tonight, so I appreciate you giving us your time, dude. It means a lot.
I'm always here for you, man.
So thank you, man. Thank you for real.
Yeah. I need to start promoting, by the way. So anybody, please subscribe to X-Wing. Nah, I'm just, dude, I don't care.
I was blowing you up too, man.
Around. If you don't, then leave.
Hey, go subscribe to X-Wing. Show that man some love, all right?
Bye, guys.
I don't have his link, but
be safe.
Go search him up. He's awesome. Before we get out of here, since you both like anime, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts. Are you looking forward to Visions? Do you think it's gonna be cool? I mean, what did you get from that trailer?
It's Star Wars, man. It's I'm kind of on the same Marvel train. I don't care if it's Frog Thor. I don't care if it's Alligator Loki. I don't care if it's Samurai. I mean, I look at Jedi as samurais already, right? it's funny. I put this piece together about the directors of Boba Fett, and I went through all of these interviews with Dave Filoni, and there's this point where they're talking about the Jedi and how samurai they are, and how to walk into a negotiation, it would be very mob boss. It would be very Japanese. You put your lightsaber on the table and say, okay, now let's negotiate. Right. And that's very Japanese. And so for me, this is just another opportunity to see different stories told. Like, the artwork is dope. Seeing that red lightsaber samurai look, like he's pulling. I mean, that's what I think of when I think of Jedi taking their lightsabers out. Some people go across to get it. Some people go like a gun, like a holster. Some people, like Kanan, had it behind his back that he put together. Like, it's very samurai. The taking out of the lightsaber is very samurai, no matter who you are. So this is just an extension of that we get to see a little more dramatized and not so in the Star Wars universe that we live in now. So I think it's going to be fun as hell.
I think that's ironic too. Now that I think about it, that X-Wing doesn't like anime, because Star Wars is so, I guess you could say it takes a lot from the Japanese culture.
Yeah, think about it. Look at Padme. She was dressed up like one of them Chinese, Japanese ladies. I'm just being honest, with all that makeup and all that stuff with the white.
Yeah, it was.
Look at the Jedi. Look what they wear. They wear kimonos and gis.
I know it's very.
Yeah, their tunics are
the flips and the force power. That's called ki. That's all that is, bro.
Look at Ahsoka.
Yes, all Ahsoka George Lucas. I said George Lucas. All George Lucas did was ump it up with it, but that's straight Japanese culture.
Well, and Dave Filoni, having done Avatar, right? The first, the last Airbender, having done Avatar, that is very influenced by Asian culture.
Yeah, very American. It's like an American anime, basically.
Right, but it's still the lessons are very Buddhist and Taoist and very Eastern thinking. And so he wrote, for me, my favorite character, he wrote his crowning character, Ahsoka, is excessively Japanese. Everything about her is Japanese, right? The way that she uses her sabers, the way that she, the last scene in the Siege of Mandalore, when she first lights her sabers for the first time after getting them back, the way that she's stretching out and she's so free, like that was the perfect expression of a Japanese samurai. And to me, Ahsoka is a Ronin. She's a samurai without a master. She's out there on her own doing justice where justice needs to be done. Like, to me, everything that is Ahsoka is Japanese culture. And I don't know if that's maybe one of the reasons I love her so much, but that's, to me, she is the personification of, I think, what George was trying to say. This is what a Jedi should be.
Yeah. When I think of Star Wars, I think it's a perfect mix of Japanese culture, Wild West, and World War II.
Han Solo definitely is a cowboy.
Yeah, like the Wild West, World War II, and like in Japanese, shogun samurai type action.
Look what Luke had on in New Hope. That's Japanese culture.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and I mean, look at the like you were saying, the Western influence. Look at the Boba Fett, the gunslinger, right? Look at Jango,
the
and
spurs,
right? The spurs, right? Like, all of that is very Western.
All the bounty hunters are gunslingers. Look at Din Djarin. Din Djarin is a gunslinger.
Bosk, Cad Bane. You go back to all of these. All the gunslingers are very Western. All the bounty hunters are very Western.
Yep.
And all of the Jedi and Force users are very Japanese.
Yeah.
Right. Then the Empire is very like big army, however you want to describe that, right?
NAZI.
What would you call the Empire? Would they be?
I mean, I would think of them more like communism.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say the word. You know what word I'm talking about?
Well, I mean, they're even called Imperials.
The N word, not the N word, but the other N word.
But I mean, I feel like
that's what I'm saying. NAZI is what they remind me the most
right.
of.
Yeah.
Communist too.
I feel like it's more communist. Like the dude on top has the power to just cut heads off without any reason, right? Like in the axis of evil, they were very much still like under leadership and law and order, whereas the communist rule is very like by the hand of the leadership, and that was very empire, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody wants to say, and I went through this Gina Carano thing again today, and I look at her comment and I understand how people misunderstand it, but she could have used a different analogy, and I feel like the communist ideals tend to hold the most similarities to the Imperials.
I can see that. I think it's a mix, but you know what's funny? I think it's more their ideals, but the aesthetic is of like, Germany during that time, during World War II, like even the armor and not the armor, the clothes they wear and the way they act, and even them being called stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I have to agree with you. The ideals are very,
yeah, they're not so much the axis of evil is what I'll call it. They're not so much of that nature to me. I've always looked at them more of the emperor has his right hand, right? Just like in Star Wars, the emperor back in the old days of the China regime had the emperor led and his right hand followed orders and made things happen. That's very Sith, right? And then soldiers followed orders. You went into battle.
Soldiers follow orders.
And they had their big helmets and their big suits, and that's very Imperial. So I don't know if that's because George gets a lot of his influence from the Eastern religions and the Eastern philosophy. So I don't know if that maybe comes more from the Ming Dynasty empire rather than modern day communism, right? And so, but I feel it's still very much Eastern mentality rather than European.
Yeah, it's definitely an influence of a lot of things. George was such a mastermind of how he blended that stuff together. Fatal J, before we get out of here, your quick thoughts on Visions. You excited for it? Does it look cool? Or are you like,
my top 3 favorite anime of all time is Afro Samurai, and not in any order. Afro Samurai, Berserk, and Attack on Titans. The creator of Afro Samurai is going to do a story in Visions. I can't wait. I'm pumped up and excited about it. I love solo stories in Star Wars that's not attached to anything, because to me, that's like the best Star Wars, because I don't get pissed off when they do Luke wrong or when they do this character wrong. So this is just going to be a fun thing to watch and enjoy. So I'm ready.
Yeah. And you know what I really hope they do? You've seen Demon Slayer, Fatal J, so you know what I'm talking about. The fight, the way they fight with their swords and that is so cool. Like, I would love to see a lightsaber battle, not with like, how they use like the animal like looking thing. I don't want that, but like just the way they move with their swords and the way they clash. If they do that with Star Wars, I think it'd be pretty dope.
The Japanese do everything right when it comes to anime. When it comes to fight, it's almost like they take away all the political garbage, all the PC garbage, and just give us everything we love about watching a show. Give us cool fights. Give us a dope story, but don't make it too long. And boom, you got your anime.
It's going to be dope. Doesn't matter. The only thing I wish they would have done is I wish they would have given more. They would have given us a little more, and they would have allowed for not just a bunch of Japanese studios, but a bunch of independent creators. Right?
They'll never do that though. They scared of that.
Of course, but that's the way to bridge the gap. Right.
They rather go overseas and deal with
Japanese studios,
Japanese people, instead of getting with the hardcore fans that have talent and know what the fans want. They rather do that. They rather do that.
No, I agree. Yeah. And there's some dope Star Wars anime out there that's done in other parts of the world than just the Japanese studios. I
promise all just us 3. We could come up with a better Star Wars story, better than Lucasfilm. But that's not what.
Wait till my next merch drop,
dude. I'm pretty sure my script for for the the Inquisitor, the fan film we're trying to do. It's obviously the person creating it saying this isn't much to go by, but I think it's better than anything that they've put out.
Yeah, and they are intimidated by that. So to answer that statement, they're not going to reach out to the fans. That, you know what I mean?
I agree. It would be a nice olive branch to the community that they shit on.
It will be nice, but that's in Neverland with Peter Pan and Captain Hook and all them people.
That's why I'm trying to stay out of that space, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I have ideas. I would love to shoot movies and stuff, but I'm trying to stay out of that space and trying to create something that's in the space that they're allowing creativity.
Right.
And create your own IP,
And before
not even my own IP, but drive off of their IP, but just create something that they're allowing new content creators in.
Yeah, you're right.
They're not going to let you mess with the canon. They're not going to let you come in as a special director unless you know somebody at Lucas, right?
Because I was blown away by Star Wars theories. Not the name drop, but I was blown away by Star Wars theory Vader.
Oh, the second one, the preview he did animated was fire.
Yeah, that's on par with like Dave Filoni,
and that's what I'm saying. The fact that they're not reaching out to these people that have shown their loyalty to the IP and hold it at such a high value in their life, to not reach out to even one or two of these people is, in my opinion, foolish.
Yeah,
because he is the highest counting YouTuber content creator that does Star Wars.
Well, I know who he is, obviously.
But I'm even all things aside, he's shown that he can create content that Disney are even interested in carrying on some of those storylines. So whether he cracked their code or they're biting off of him, either way, he created something rad that could be easily given an opportunity to show his talent with the IP agreement, but instead they want to go overseas and hire these studios to make what's going to be awesome. I just wish I just wish they would have given an opportunity to some of the people like Bucketheads, right? And these people that are creating this content on their own dime, knowing they could never monetize it.
But
throw these guys,
this is true hatred right here. This is true hatred. Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying real quick. They know if they get with Star Wars Theory or some other YouTubers very passionate and got a big following, they know if they pull a YouTuber like that, and he work on their projects or future movies, it will blow up and it will make billions. But this is the thing. This is how you know they really hate you or hate somebody, is when they refuse to make all that money.
Well, that's just
because,
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's why, me personally, like I would love to make some fan fiction. I know friends of mine that have made Star Wars movies even before YouTube was a hit. And for me, I'm trying to stay in a space that I know they're going to allow creativity.
Obsession. Right? Watch this. You would know I really hate you if someone told me, hey, Fatal J, if you get Obsession and you guys sit together and work on this project, it's guaranteed to make $1 billion. And I say, no, I don't want him to be a part of this. I have to hate you to turn down billions. You know what I mean?
And that's just it. Like, I have no delusions that creating a game could easily get stolen, right? No delusions. It literally, Disney or any of the big manufacturers could see a beta that I'm putting out and take the idea, right? That's not what it's about. For me, I have to get something out of my brain. I feel like an artist or a composer. This thing is gnawing at the back of my brain to get out, and I have to get it out. So if I have to spend my money, I feel like that's what content creators do, right? Like whether you're making, Vader or Vader 2, or you're making the Buckethead stuff or any of this awesome content that these guys are doing, they're using their own dime, which means there's passion. And that usually leads to the best projects.
And I honestly think a big thing that Hollywood is missing right now, and you all are actually older than me, so you probably definitely feel it. I'll say this and we can get out of here, unless you all have something to add. But I feel like I was watching, because for me, I'm 27. I was born in 93. So a lot of the movies I remember watching are in, the 90s and, early 2000s were my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 80s was a time period where, of course, I saw some of those 80s movies, but I never really got into those older films because I just, it wasn't my era technically. And especially a lot of the action films, I was younger back then. And I grew up in a very strict household anyway, so I wasn't really allowed to watch anything violent. So I missed a ton of that stuff. So I was watching Escape from New York for the first time today. Mm. And I was like, how have I never seen this? This is it's a gem. It's like a hidden gem. And I feel like there were these movies back then in the 80s that had this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every 80s movie is great, but it's kind of what I remember about some films in the 90s too. They have a feel that movies nowadays don't have. It's kind of not to get blasphemous, but I always say that the first 1977 Star Wars and also Empire Strikes Back just have a feel to them.
Well, they're great.
You can't get it from anything else. And that's how I feel watching some of these older 80s movies, from the music to the aesthetic to the way they're filmed, and they don't even always have the great, special, the props don't always look amazing, but just it doesn't matter because the feeling is so good.
Bro, when Star Wars, now I can't really speak for episode 6 to episode
7, 8, 9.
4, 5, and 6. I can't speak for 4, 5, and 6, but I experienced episode 1, 2, and 3, and that was a big American event when a Star Wars movie was dropping. I mean, people was taking off work and all this type of stuff and just getting really geared up and ready the whole week. I mean, right. I remember when it used to be lines. Yeah, dressed, and you used to have long lines at the movie theater. I'm talking about lines where people was outside waiting for 2 or 3 days for the movie.
We waited. We had some people waiting for tickets at the box office overnight, and then we waited in line for 5 hours.
Yeah. Wow. But I can remember people with tents outside the movie theaters to get ready to watch a Star Wars. And it's like you said, that feeling is gone. Now it's just manufactured.
Right. And I don't even say I would miss that because I don't want to stay outside, but I miss that hype, because the movies just had that feeling of greatness,
I mean, this is a cult classic, I guess I would say. But for me, a movie like Reservoir Dogs, you can't make those kind of movies now.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't do that stuff the way you could in the 80s and 90s. The woke movement and all of that stuff, and over the past 20 years, not just now, but over the past 20 years, has changed the dynamics of what you can and cannot do on the screen, right? There's words that were prevalent in 80s and 90s movies that you can't use now because you'll get stoned to death.
It is right? Isn't it crazy that the generation that was raised on South Park, Family Guy, Eminem,
so sensitive?
or rap music in general are sensitive?
Yeah.
Because rap music became what it is while a lot of these people were growing up, Yeah. And it's how are you like this? That's what you were raised on.
Well, I mean,
that's really weird.
I mean, that's, there's so many layers to that onion, but it just goes to show you that the thing that never changes is there's always hate. The only difference is now we have an internet, we have YouTube, we have all these outlets to show and to express our dislike for things or our like. But back then in the 80s and 90s, you didn't have these forums. You just had your circle of friends, right? And that's a big part of it, unless you were plugged into the mainstream. So the feel of it is just because everybody's got an opinion and everybody's telling their opinion now. And the feeling is you just can't do they did. I'll give you a perfect example. They did Coming to America 2. I don't know if you guys caught it. There were parts that were hilarious.
Only funny part of me was the barbershop scene, but go ahead.
All of that old stuff was hilarious. All the stuff that they tried to make it feel real nostalgic. But you can't duplicate the comedy that you did then in the original, right? That's a perfect example of things you could get away with then that you can't get away with now, and things that were funny then that just aren't funny now, right? So it's this over time we navigate through these ups and downs in Hollywood. And right now I feel like where we're at is, especially with COVID, people need to be overly entertained and overly stimulated right now. And deep, like, I'm surprised the Tomorrow War or War of Tomorrow, whatever it is, I'm surprised it did so well because it's a thinking movie also. So people don't want to think right now. People just want to be entertained. So I
guess I agree with you. The biggest thing I was getting at with that 1980s thing is I just wish more filmmakers, because you would think a lot of them are from that generation now anyway. I wish more filmmakers would try and make stuff like that. Even I think the closest thing to that I've seen is Drive, which came out, it's been a while ago now.
That's my favorite movie of all time, bro.
That had a very 80s film. I mean,
they slept on that movie. I think the world slept on that movie, man.
Ryan Gosling, Chef's Kiss, man. That was great.
Bro, he didn't even talk that much in that movie. You know what that reminded me of? Of the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan the Barbarian movie. where the main star didn't talk that much in the movie.
Uh-huh.
Like when you got a great classic movie and the main character's not even talking that much, you got you a win.
I think Drive actually, and like will be looked back on as a classic. Like,
do you even realize this after you watch Drive? They never told you his name.
Yeah, I don't think you ever do get it. I think it's like in the credits, he's called Driver or something like that.
Yeah, and remember, old boy was calling him kid.
Yeah,
I mean, I could say the one movie I could say maybe that they did did it justice in 2020 or 2019, whenever they made it, was Blade Runner. Right. Like,
I didn't love that film, but I think I'm just not a Blade Runner fan because I watched the original.
I thought it was awesome. You know, the whole rebound after 30 years and literally using the same actors. That's why Hayden and Ewan are going to be so dope in Kenobi.
Right.
That's why Kenobi is going to be so dope, because they don't have to CG anybody.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's their actual age. Hayden's 40. Vader's 40. Obi-Wan is in his 50s, right? Maybe in his late or mid 50s, right? Like, he's older. So he's playing that part at the same time. Like, all of the stars are aligning for Kenobi.
But Obsession, I'll say this though, if they mess this up,
they're not gonna mess it up. You got. I
can't put faith in Disney like that. I can't do it.
You got George Lucas being the Grand Master, right? And you've got his apprentice leading story. Right.
You can convince me as much as you want to, but they have let me down after let me down after let me down after let me down. I want it to be dope. Yes.
They let you down though. Like, really let you down.
Let's start. Force Awakens.
No. The last time, not the. I don't need the record. I just need the last time you looked at Star Wars and went, all right. That was the last time, because I can't think of that since Dave Filoni and since Jon Favreau.
But that's
helm, right.
And Mandalorian is new,
right? Exactly.
There hasn't been anything on Disney Plus that I hated yet.
But the track record is bad. You got Force Awakens.
Old regime, though. You're talking about the old regime, and that's a big starting point, right? Like, you're talking about Kathleen that didn't know shit.
But we got Deborah Chow. Is it
Deborah
Chow?
Amazing director.
Yeah, she did a good job on the Mando shows.
She knows.
She did a good job.
What's up.
But I'm gonna have to wait and see, man.
Look, dog. They brought in Bryce Dallas Howard. All right, they brought in an actress who had.
How is her dad, Opie? How does he not look older than he is,
dude?
I mean, he's old, but he does not look as old as
being rich and Botox and white in America. Come on, bro.
I'm just saying this. You got Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. You got Solo. I give you Rogue One, and I give you Mandalorian. I don't count the animated shows. You got 4 versus your 2 versus the 2.
Okay, but you're also talking about a track record of those 3 films in Solo, which I give Solo a pass the same way I give Rogue One a pass. If you're going to give Rogue One a pass, Solo gets the same pass. I have huge issues with Solo, but as a movie, it was decent.
It's not a bad movie.
It wasn't as disrespectful as the sequels tend to be. However, you're talking about a time when Jon Favreau was deep in Marvel and not involved in Disney or in Star Wars, you had Dave Filoni not being at the top and calling all the shots for story, right? You had Kathleen Kennedy in charge of basically her and Pablo. Kathleen and Pablo were in charge of story, right? So you have the blind leading the blind, even though everybody says Pablo's amazing. I think he's kind of short-sighted. And now you have the new class. You got Dave Filoni, who is literally at the very top of story. So all story goes through Dave Filoni. Then you have Favreau executive producing Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. Dave Filoni's doing Ahsoka. Kenobi is in the hands of.
But this is the thing, though. I wouldn't get too overconfident because this show was supposed to come out, and then your queen. Well,
COVID happened. I mean, come on. COVID happened and stunted Hollywood for a year, dude. Let's be real. It's not about the politics. It's that
news came out before COVID that they was rewriting and doing away with the script. That was before COVID hit.
Script.
There was a version of Obi-Wan.
So something was wrong. Something was wrong to what they said.
Kennedy was in charge. Exactly. Kathleen Kennedy was in charge of story. No, she's not. She's look, dude. The way that the corporate structure works.
Put stuff in my shoes. Watch this. If this show end up being bad,
it can't. But they can't kick off.
A lot of people thought Star Wars couldn't be bad when it came to Force Awakens and stuff. Yes, they did.
Everybody was pissed off that Star Wars wasn't George Lucas's script. Everybody was pissed off.
A lot of people came in the Force Awakens. A lot of people came. Bro, a lot of people came in the Force Awakens. You came in the Force Awakens thinking Luke Skywalker was going to be the badass that we all knew from the books and from the lore.
But you didn't see him in the first episode, so it doesn't even count. The second movie is where we see him and actually speak. The first one, we didn't see Luke Skywalker, so that doesn't.
So you came into Star Wars on the Force Awakens thinking this could be a bad movie.
You had you did. You have a woman that has never directed and never produced a Star Wars movie, leading the story campaign of Star Wars and making executive executive decisions on what is going to be canon in Star Wars.
So you honestly told me, you honestly telling me that when George Lucas gave the reins over to Disney, over to Kathleen Kennedy, and they was coming out with The Force Awakens, you honestly told yourself this might be a bad movie.
George Lucas picked Kathleen Kennedy to take over.
I just want you to answer that question. Did you say this could be a bad movie?
When Force Awakens came out, I don't think Force Awakens is a bad movie. I don't think it is a bad story. I think the fact that they had two directors trying to redo each other's stories after that first story was written, that's where the problem's laid out. When Ryan tried to come in and say, I'm going to rewrite what you just showed me, and then JJ came back and said, I'm going to rewrite what you just rewrote that you just rewrote, that's what broke those sequels. It wasn't, story aside,
I can agree with you on that.
Going to war over who has the control of the Star Wars universe is what broke the sequels. It wasn't that story, especially with Force Awakens. Force Awakens teased Luke Skywalker on a planet by himself.
Force Awakens is a new hope.
It doesn't matter. You have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere.
There are problems with The Force Awakens. Just like I'll put it this way. The Force Awakens set up a lot of cool things that I thought were okay, this has the potential to be really cool to see what they do with it next. And The Last Jedi just kind of came and was like, nah, bro, we ain't doing none of that. That's where I think they messed up.
Because when they said there wasn't vision, they didn't plan out. Look, George Lucas's scripts for the sequels had 3 more movies planned out, fully done. They took those and threw them in the trash, and they hired new writers. Right? That was Kathleen Kennedy's executive decision as head of story. So hold on. So she making all the decisions for all the movies you're hating right now. And the things that you like from Star Wars right now are coming from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and that team of creators. So it's 2 different groups of people that are doing Star Wars. The fact that Kathleen is still running the office, promotions, parks, and all that other shit for Star Wars doesn't matter dick to story.
How did it go
Dave
from Kathleen
Filoni
Kennedy?
Story.
How did it go from Kathleen Kennedy doing away with the first script of Kenobi to now all of a sudden she's just magically gone, and now it's in Jon Favreau's hands and Dave Filoni?
She's not magically gone. She is still the CEO of Lucasfilms.
That's my point. So if you coming in this thinking 100%, oh, this can't go wrong, you wrong.
No,
I'm not go wrong.
She doesn't have power in the story department. She is doing the office work. She is running the company and making sure that the two Bobs at the top are happy. Making sure the board. If
that's the case, you can say the same thing for the sequel trilogy. That she didn't have no hand in it.
Dave Filoni is in charge, and Dave Filoni wasn't working on Star Wars live action during that time. He was working on Clone Wars. He was working on Rebels.
He made suggestions on Rise of Skywalker too.
He wasn't an executive producer on Rise of Skywalker.
He suggested a lot of things. If you read the Rise of Skywalker book. He suggested a lot of stuff that we hate about that movie,
but he wasn't the director. He wasn't in charge. My point is, you're blaming the current regime. Okay, look, you're blaming the current regime for what has happened in the past. The past is gone. Let it die. Stop being negative about what's coming and be excited.
Negative.
You're expecting Kenobi to flop.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I wanted to be dope.
But you're expecting it to be bad because it changed management midway through because Kathleen's idea was garbage and Dave Filoni stepped in with a new idea a year and a half ago and said, this is where Kenobi should go to follow the canon. And that's when Deborah got assigned to the movie.
So you telling me that Kenobi is no way possible 1,000%, 100% sure that this will be fire and it won't go 100%. Back. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Hold me to it.
I want to give my take. I'm gonna give my take on that really quick.
I've been saying it all year.
If it break canon, I want you to still hold on to the fact that it could never mess up ever. If it mess up canon of A New Hope, I want you to hold on to the fact that it can never be.
If Vader and Kenobi meet in real time, in real life,
and fight several times,
then I'm out. Because it ain't going to happen. Because they can't.
Kathleen Kennedy said they're fighting in this show.
And no, they said there's a saber battle. That could be in the mind of Vader. That could be.
Did Kathleen Kennedy say?
So I want to get my thoughts. I want to get my thoughts on what y'all are saying. I do think the show is going to end up being good. As far as the problems this show was having, apparently before Deborah Chow got assigned, apparently the show was having problems. The script wasn't great. Apparently, like Obi-Wan wasn't really even in the show to like
just the end. The rematch of the century.
Well, he wasn't right. I'm gonna get to that. But he wasn't even in the show until the end. In case the chat is wondering what we were talking about when it came to that stuff. Now, I think it does say something that Deborah Chow gets assigned to this show after Dave Filoni becomes, basically top dog with story, because we know it looks like there is this Mandalorian regime because Deborah Chow, Bryce Dallas Howard, like all those people, they work like it's almost like John and they were kind of training these directors and like kind of showing them like this is the way, this is how we do this, and kind of passing the torch to let them go on and make other stuff. So for them to like then assign Deborah to it, I do think that in itself was Dave stepping in like, all right, we're gonna fix this, Deborah. We want you to go work on this. Now
rewrite. They did a full 100% page one rewrite when Dave took over as a year and a half ago.
They rewrote Rise of Skywalker. That doesn't mean nothing to me.
Well, Dave didn't rewrite. He did suggest things, but he didn't.
Colin Trevorrow, he had the dopest script for Rise of Skywalker, and they changed it.
Who was in charge? Decision was it to not use his script? It was Kathleen's decision.
How do you know that? How do we know she's not in charge? How do you know that?
Because they wouldn't have given up her office right? They don't just give positions at Disney or Lucasfilms for nothing. And for 2 years, it's been in the works that Kathleen was going to step down from story and Dave was going to take over as executive in charge of story. Now, the way that the infrastructure works, technically, she had the position of whatever her main position was and head of story. She's no longer head of story. So the apprentice.
I don't believe she was never head of story though, because anybody that says the Force is female is clearly not a Star Wars fan. She said that there is no books to go off of or no lore to go off of in Star Wars.
She's an idiot. That's what I'm saying. She's an idiot.
But you can't tell
when it comes to Star Wars.
She's over she's over the creative side. I know she's not over the creative side. She wasn't over the creative side
working on Indiana Jones. She's not even working on this. She's working on Indiana Jones.
My point is, this is
not even in creative. She's on set handling indie.
My point is this. Do I want Kenobi to be dope? Of course I want it to be dope. But I'm not going to rush and say 1,000% this show can't go wrong. Because if it already went wrong with a script before.
Now, let me finish because I didn't finish what I wanted to say about my opinion on that. Can this show potentially not be good? Yes, I do think it will be, because more things are stacked in its favor to actually be good. Now, as far as canon being broken, I don't know. That might happen. Dave has
have to be broken.
Dave is really good at canon, but he's also shown like he can at times be like, all right, screw canon. But
that's what
George.
That's with the comics and shit. That's not anything animated or live
That's
action.
what I was gonna say. When it comes to like George's stuff,
the comics a bone, in my opinion.
I don't think he would do that to George's like original trilogy. I don't see Dave doing that. And look, and a lot of people disagree on this. I don't technically think if they see each other again, it destroys canon. Like, it will make people mad, but you can make it make sense in canon. But it still will make people mad. I get that. So I don't know. The show, I think, will be good. Will it make some people mad? We'll see.
They really can't mess it up. If you're coming out of the gate with Kenobi, which is what it looks like, or Book of Boba, but really I think Kenobi was slated first, if I'm not mistaken. At least it was at the end of last year. If they lead with Kenobi, it can't be bad. They can't mess it up.
How can they not mess it up?
Because if they do, people won't watch the rest of the live action stuff coming out.
Let me tell you something.
You're only as good as your last gig in Hollywood. When you're only as good as your last show in Hollywood. And if they mess up Kenobi, they turn off the fan base. People don't watch Boba. They don't watch
happen with Disney.
Watch Ahsoka. They don't watch any of that stuff.
Look at Captain Marvel. Look at any of these Disney shows that come out. They make billions of dollars, whether they bad, good, or whatever. Look at Rise of Skywalker. It sucked and it did $1 billion. Look at Last Jedi. It sucked and it did $1 billion.
Because you will watch it regardless of if it sucks. That's why they make billions. But they
that doesn't
do it.
That doesn't mean doesn't mean it doesn't fail in the eyes of the fans. Maybe
if
that's
what released Black Widow before they released at the beginning of all of this Marvel shit. Right. And I didn't like WandaVision at all. But if you lead with this movie, why do you think Loki is in the middle? Because Loki is the hottest shit they put out this year. Right. There's a reason. They're trailing off on stuff that they can do right now because they've gone through most of their encyclopedia. They're having to create a multiverse to build the next phase of Marvel. Right. With Star Wars, they're literally giving the people, and when you call for a rewrite, that's a huge deal.
That's a very huge deal.
A page one rewrite is a huge deal because they've already spent a lot of money.
Rewrite and reshoots is something is wrong.
Right. And what changed between the time of the rewrite? One position in Lucasfilms changed between the time of the old script and the new rewrite. And what was that position change?
But Dave Filoni is not the savior of.
Yeah, he's going to be the savior. He's already proving he's the savior.
Okay, let's break this down. I want to understand your verbiage. I want to understand. Okay.
He's a
when you saying this can't go wrong. Is you talking about in the eyes of a success, as many people watching it? Of course, millions of people, billions going to watch this. But are you talking about in terms of the eyes of the fans?
I'm talking about canon, right?
So if this is canon, if this is canon, if this go by canon, I'm gonna let you. I promise, I'll let you. I'll be done. If this is canon, me and you both know as hardcore Star Wars fans who are not supposed to see each other between a time frame of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Who's not supposed to cross paths?
I don't think they're going to. I think you're going to see more. If you see a Vader Kenobi showdown, it's not going to be in person. It's not. I don't think those two. If Kenobi hops off planet.
If you see the dopest fight ever between Kenobi and Vader, and it's in person, and this was the best lightsaber. This was the best lightsaber duel you ever saw in Star Wars history. Well, what would you say about that? Because that's already happened. But I'm just saying that just broke canon. What would you think about that?
If he steps off Tatooine, for me, it breaks canon. You can't abandon. I don't think so. You can't abandon your post.
Well, they've already done it.
Exactly right.
You can't.
If you see those smaller tidbits that supposed to make A New Hope canon, if you see Vader somewhere in the same vicinity as Vader, because you know they can sense each other force wise. If you see Vader on Tatooine, then this show was not one.
No, Vader won't go to Tatooine.
Vader will never go to Tatooine.
He won't go to Tatooine.
Ever. That is the birthplace of Anakin Skywalker. That's where Anakin Skywalker,
he won't be
his mother. There is no way Vader goes back to Tatooine until A New Hope.
Now watch this. If we go on by Disney,
there's no way.
Watch this though. Watch this, because we're talking about Disney. Didn't in the comic books of Vader, in the Disney new comic books, Vader did return to Tatooine. Am I right or wrong?
I honestly don't know if that's the Dark Horse comics or if that's the new Marvel comics.
This is Marvel Disney. Vader returned to Tatooine as had two. He had a lot of.
Is that the Boba Fett fight for Han Solo? That's what you're talking about. You're talking about the Boba Fett and Vader fight over Solo in the cantina.
Now, is it possible for Disney to take?
But that's after. That's after, because he's hunting for Luke Skywalker, and when he was in Tatooine, he choked out a guy pretending to be Luke Skywalker. So that fight was after all of this.
Watch this.
So I understand what you're saying, but that fight with Boba Fett looking, because Vader walked in and this kid was like, "Yeah, I blew up the Death Star. I'm Luke Skywalker," and he grabbed him and he started choking him, and he's like, "I'm not him. I'm not him." And then Boba was
consider that canon.
But that's after. That's not.
Yeah,
that's not during.
Even if it's after, if it's before, do you consider that canon?
I mean, if that is what canon is right now, then sure. But that's not what we're talking about.
Then
you're talking about what's
the difference? If you don't consider that canon, but Disney consider that canon, then what is the difference between them showing up in Tatooine?
Well, that doesn't break canon, because we know, like in canon, he was not supposed to have been on Tatooine since the events of Revenge of the Sith.
Y'all proving my point perfectly.
No, you're saying that the scene with that Vader went back to Tatooine in the new comics, that is after the first Death Star blows up.
Yeah, so it hasn't broken canon.
So that didn't break George Lucas canon.
No. Kenobi's dead at that point because he cut him already, and Luke blew up the Death Star. This is after the first Death Star blows up. This is when Vader is hunting Luke Skywalker. He's not there before Kenobi.
My opinion on that is a lot different from you guys. I do think it would break canon for him to go to Tatooine, and I don't think he will go to Tatooine in the show. Now, I know it'll make a lot of people mad if this happens. I don't personally think it can. I think you can get around them meeting, just because I'm sure you've heard of this obsession in A New Hope. He does say a presence I haven't felt since, but he doesn't say since Mustafar when I was burning. He doesn't say anything like that.
Bro, but we all knew what that
could
meant.
Be since the last 10 years.
Man.
Because 10 years is still a long time.
We all knew what that meant. We all knew what that meant.
Don't get me wrong. But I do think that's what George meant it to be.
The verbiage that he uses is indicative of a timeline. So when Vader says,
"Right,
when I left you, I was but the
learner. Now I'm the master.
I am the master."
Well,
that really was 100% saying, "I taught you, and that's the last time I saw you, teacher."
But think about this though. In a way, George already kind of messed that up because obviously George, while he did have the idea of the story, he didn't have it all completely fleshed out when he wrote that. So in a way, it kind of messes up because Anakin is not a Padawan when they fight. He's a Jedi Knight. In a lot of ways, he's even more.
He's still his master. Just like
no, don't get me wrong. He is his master. But in a lot of ways, he's stronger than Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
he's beyond Obi-Wan.
But at the same time, when somebody's teaching you, if you're a piano teacher and you teach your pupil and they're better than you, you're still their teacher, right? You're still right. And with Anakin, that when they saw each other the last time, it wasn't on Mustafar. The last time they said goodbye as Anakin and Obi-Wan was on Coruscant after they landed the Chancellor and put the Chancellor back from Grievous. That was the last time Anakin and Obi-Wan saw each other.
Right.
Now, they felt each other since Mustafar. They haven't since Mustafar. They never felt each other again.
This is what I'm saying. I do believe that's how George intended it to be, and that's what will piss people off if they do meet. I'm just saying there is wiggle room to say they met 10 years ago and he hasn't felt him since then.
Y'all want to know what's funny?
He doesn't say it specifically.
This is supposed to be final thoughts. This is the funniest thing ever. This is supposed to be the final thoughts. And then went almost enough.
But here's the thing.
Right? I want you to understand this, man. I'm with you. I don't want you to think I'm against you.
No, I want Kenobi. This is debate, baby. This is how it's supposed to go.
You are against him, Jay. I know.
No. As much as I actually want Kenobi and Vader to meet, but then the hardcore fan of me does not want that to happen because that destroys what George Lucas was setting up for A New Hope, and that's all I'm saying.
It depends on
now if they do a dream sequence.
They're gonna do a dream sequence,
even though that's cringe.
Flashbacks. They're gonna do flashbacks. They're gonna do dream sequences. They can do force dreams or force visions. Even though that's still cringe, that still would be dope. But I can't say that 100% this show is gonna be fire because this right here, Mandalorian is cool. It's dope. I love Mandalorian, but that's not close to home. This is close to home. And you said you're not big on the animation of Star Wars, right? So have you watched?
I love the animations.
Okay, so
but I don't like Bad Batch and I don't like
okay. So let's say
I like but I like the Clone Wars before that though.
So Vader is hunting Kenobi like a dog on a bone. The entire time from the time he chopped his arm and leg off until the time he sees him in the Death Star.
Yeah, can I stop you just to say one thing? I had someone tell me a while back in a stream where we were talking about Kenobi that Vader has no reason to want to find Kenobi. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? Or he has no reason to want to confront him. I'm like, bro, he hates him.
He has the perfect reason, but George Lucas with that one little line, stop that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your train of thought obsession. I was just saying.
No, I got it. Go ahead and finish your train of thought down there. What was the one? Okay, so
the one line from New Hope, stop that. It stopped.
Which line?
When he said, "This is a person I haven't felt in years."
Well, and he didn't even say that. He didn't even finish. He's like, I have not. He's like, I felt a present I have not felt. And then he walks away. Like he doesn't.
What is that? An ellipses? Is that what you call that?
Well, look at the context clues. Look how Kenobi was describing Vader to Luke in both movies. Look how he was describing like this was a long time ago.
Well, okay,
10 years is technically a long time.
So Kenobi takes Luke to Tatooine, and then in Rebels we see Vader relentlessly hunting Kenobi. Every time they talk about a Jedi, the reason he gets excited is because he thinks it's Kenobi. That's why he shows up every time there's a Jedi present in Rebels. Because when Kanan and Ezra show up, Vader shows up. When Ahsoka shows up, Vader shows up. Anytime there's a Jedi out there, he says that Jedi could lead me to Kenobi, right? Because he's hunting Kenobi like obsessively,
like
right?
Stink on a monkey.
So,
okay, I rock with that obsession. I like to go ahead.
So when we get to Maul on Tatooine, looking for Ben Kenobi, he can feel him, right? He says it. He's wandering. I can feel him. Like he's searching for him, but he can't find him because Kenobi has been on Tatooine for 10 years. He knows the planet better than anybody. He probably making deals with Tuskens. At that point, Kenobi is old man Kenobi, and Luke is just a little boy. And Maul shows up at his, let's say, second prime, right? Because he's just a badass. And Kenobi deals with Maul in one stroke.
Yeah, honestly, I think old man Kenobi would have beat Vader.
How old is Kenobi in A New Hope?
60 something?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's 30 years.
Old as freak.
Right. And he whooped Maul's ass, right? As a little old man.
But that's Rebels, though.
That's 9 years. That's less than 10 years before A New Hope, because Luke is about 9 or 10 years old. So Rebels, Kenobi, old man Kenobi, is there on a mission. Luke is his only mission, to protect the kid and to leave his post still thinking he's a general. Basically, he's the last protecting their biggest asset. He can't leave his post.
What if he does, though?
So it doesn't bother me because
what if he does, though? Did that brace canon?
No, let me tell you why it doesn't bother me.
So it can go 100%. It's not 100%. You said it's no way this show can go wrong. Yes, it can.
Can I tell you why it doesn't bother me?
It won't go wrong.
Did I tell you why it wouldn't bother me if he left?
You told me if Kenobi left Tatooine, it's
no, it won't. You know why it won't?
But I want to hear obsession real quick. ABJ, I know this yourself, but I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Why? I want to know why it
wouldn't bother me because
I'm just saying, if you see Kenobi leave Tatooine, how would you feel?
I honestly don't think it's going to happen because
I'm going to tell you why it's not a big deal, though.
I mean,
then it's not 100%.
Let me ask you a question, Jay.
It can go wrong.
Obsession, Jay.
I'm just talking about something real small. I'm sorry, ABJ, but you said it can't go wrong.
It won't go wrong.
The little tidbits can make it go
but
wrong.
It won't.
It won't. You're asking for the wrong. You're putting negativity out there, saying, "Well, what if it does? What if it does? What if
you call it negativity, but I'm calling it truth.
Like what if
what I call truth
for a hoof? I mean, what if they're building a whole Marvel series on what ifs? I'm not living in the what if. I'm living in the Star Wars. And it will be good.
Well,
and
I need to say this, and I think this will change your mindset.
If you happy with this show, then you shouldn't be mad in the future if Disney decide to do a New Hope reboot or a New Hope another show, because that's where this is headed.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna get out of here because it's funny.
This is going in circles.
We were supposed to get out of here, and we got into which I actually enjoyed it, but
me too. I love it.
All right, this is why, and I think maybe it won't change your opinion, Obsession, because you're a smart guy. I probably already thought
Aaron said it won't go wrong. This is Disney.
This is the reason why.
I'll put money on it if you want, dude. I'll put $100 on it.
Oh, bro, I got $5 on it.
I'll put your name on it in the corner. I'll staple it to the wall. I'll focus. I'll do a whole stream about it. If I'm wrong, I will send you that C note. But
bro, let me tell you something.
I'll put my money.
I can't even talk my own stream.
Let me tell you something, Obsession. I dropped $0.25 in my car the other day, and I almost ripped my car in half trying to find that quarter. I'm not betting you $100. I'm not betting you $100 on no Disney show because it can go either way.
I will bet you my 100 against your 1. I'll give you 100 to 1 odds that this is going to be exactly
my $1 versus your 100.
Bet. There you go.
In fact, I'm going to lose that money.
I'm going to take it out of the bank tomorrow. I'm going to do a live stream about it. I'm going to put it right there on the wall.
Oh, he calling you out on live stream.
I'm going to sign it. I'm going to put Jay's $100 if I'm an asshole.
You're going to lose that money, bro.
That's how
ABJ say this.
No, I'll take his 100 to 1, baby. I'm a gambler. I'm a hustler. Let's do it.
You gotta put 5 on it.
You heard the man. His word is born. 100.
My word is gold, baby. My word is gold.
Now, when you see Kenobi leave Tatooine,
here's the problem, though. Here's a problem though. Okay, that's what it's on. It's on if
it's on if they break canon for me.
Right. You might be in trouble there because he's gonna be in trouble. I think he is gonna leave Tatooine.
$100 to be wrong is not a bad thing.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why if he leaves Tatooine, it's not a big deal.
ABJ, I want to hear your surrounding thoughts about if this show can be 100% horrorcore or it could be some problems. What do you think? What you think?
Well, I'll say that quick and then I'll get on to the why it'll be all right for him to leave. So I think I don't think any show is ever amazing and like never has any flaws. I mean, so it'll probably have flaws. I think the show will be good. I think it's going to piss some people off because I do think they're going to do some things that people think like, oh, that wasn't supposed, like George would never have done that. Like that's kind of what Star Wars is though. Like
if it's good and it breaks canon, what would be your word on that? How would you feel?
If it's good and it breaks canon, it's not gonna break canon for me because I already told you I think it's fine for them to meet, and y'all think that's gonna break
let's just be realistic though. Let's play the 50-50 game. If it's a good show and it breaks canon,
for me, the breaking canon would be like Vader showing up on Tatooine. That would break canon for me.
Mm-hmm. But how would you feel about that? Would you still give it props on it being a good show, or
I would? But I'd be like, I could never actually. Oh, Justin came in here. I could never actually enjoy this the way I wanted to because it broke canon. But look, I want to say this, okay? I want to say this, and then we'll let Justin get in because Justin.
I want to hear Justin too, because Justin kind of non-biased.
Justin's on his sick bed, and he even came in here. He must have something to really say. But look, this is an obsession. You're a smart guy. You already probably thought about this. But this is why I think that even if Obi-Wan has to leave, technically it can work in canon. Let me ask you, Obsession, why is Obi-Wan on Tatooine?
He's there for one mission, man. He's there to protect Luke. There is no other mission for him.
So if his presence on Tatooine actually becomes a danger for Luke, what should he do?
The tricky part there is Vader doesn't know he has a kid.
Here's the thing, though.
Until they feel the ripple in the Force.
Maybe that he's not in danger from Vader, or maybe it's that someone is hunting Obi-Wan or something's going down with the Empire on Tatooine, and Obi-Wan's like, look, I'm in trouble of being found out. If they find me, they're definitely going to tell Vader I'm here. Vader's coming here.
And then Luke's
in trouble.
How's
that not work?
You got to figure Obi-Wan.
Why would he leave? Because somebody hunting him.
Yeah, Obi-Wan was on Tatooine for 19 years.
He was a hermit.
Yeah. If something bad enough if they write it in a way where whatever is happening on Tatooine somehow risk his mission of keeping Luke safe, or someone finding out about Luke being there,
there's riots in the street.
Then Obi-Wan's got to leave because he can't let the Empire know Luke is there.
That's not gonna work, bro.
Look, how? That makes sense.
Why would you leave Luke?
Can I share my screen real quick?
So
get in there, baby.
Think about it. His whole thing is the cover. No one can find out that Luke is on Tatooine, right? So I'm not writing the show, but if they write it in such a way where Luke being on Tatooine, it's possible for the Empire to find that out, then they know Obi-Wan is there and he could lead them to Luke, then you would have to leave.
I don't think I really do think this is going to be a more mental fight and more mental. Like, I think we're going to see more of Kenobi seeing flashbacks of him and Anakin in clone armor in live action than
I can take that. I would take that.
Now we are.
You guys don't agree with that? You guys don't agree that him being there could somehow become a danger within the script?
No,
they wrote that perfectly.
If they would have ever found out, anybody, whether it's an Inquisitor, a Stormtrooper, a Death Trooper, anybody finds out Kenobi's on Tatooine, there is a garrison on Tatooine, and Vader is there. There's no way that happens, and Vader.
Now we can both agree on something. I definitely agree with that. If anybody found out where Yoda or Kenobi is at, that tears up everything George Lucas did for A New Hope.
Yeah, so look,
so your
money's in trouble,
bro. You're gonna have to be.
Because when does the media ever get it right on the first try?
I mean, you're right there, but honestly, I think he's leaving Tatooine, bro.
If he leaves, it's over.
If he doesn't leave, it's over for me. He has to leave.
I'm not watching a whole show where he's just on Tatooine.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's so boring. That's a waste of a show.
Just to say
this is not going to take place in the present. The entire series is not going to take place in the present.
Oh man, you bugging if you think they're not going to have this man on a mission.
Well, look at this real quick. Concept art shows a Jedi lightsaber blade ignited defending a trio of younglings as a newly appointed or anointed Darth Vader marches on the Jedi Temple with a legion of clone troopers.
Right. I think that's going to be a Vader flashback. I think that's Vader in a Bacta tank.
Obviously.
Getting
y'all keep reading though, man. I want to hear this.
That blue lightsaber, it could be Jocasta Nu. That blue lightsaber could be an array of Jedi that were there.
Or just some random dude, yeah.
Could be Grogu.
It could be it could be Master Shakti. They could actually show us Vader killing Master Shakti.
Can y'all let the man finish reading though?
I'm not. You can go. Keep going.
Jay wanted to talk.
Go ahead, brother. Finish.
No, I want Justin because it seemed like it's gonna tell us a little bit about the show.
Well, yeah, that was like the most interesting part, but
I made
it also says McGregor said of his exiled Jedi, which is to keep, or he has one task left, which is to keep Luke safe. So it is going to be the main task of the show, I'm sure. But
okay,
he has to leave.
Here's the thing. Okay, now I will concede this one point. This one point I will concede. If Owen or Veru take Luke to a watery planet for trade, Kenobi follows and stows away.
What if Luke gets kidnapped?
I admit that. That's good.
I will accept because his mission is the kid. And if they leave the planet, he has to go too.
He'll be with him. He'll be with Luke.
Or in the shadows, not even.
You know what else? You know what that also could do.
But Luke already knew about Ben Kenobi.
But he didn't know. He called him Old Ben Kenobi. He didn't know. He called him a wizard that lives in the hermit.
But he knew him.
Right, but you could see Kenobi stashing away in the cargo hold, or you could see Kenobi following.
I don't think it would be that deep. I don't think it would be. I don't think he'll be a pervy old man. I think he'll actually be
in the forefront because him and Veru got in a lot of arguments over Kenobi fighting sand people to keep the Skywalker homestead safe.
I honestly think this show is going to piss people off because I don't think that Luke is going to be. He's going to be chasing after Luke. I honestly think either Luke's going to be endangered by his presence, or something so bad is happening that needs Obi-Wan's attention that he just says, "I've got to leave."
I can't.
It's going to be one of the two. Now I know in your head you're like, "But that breaks canon for me," and I can't see Obi-Wan doing that. But I mean, if it's bad enough, Obi-Wan might say, "I've got to leave for a bit."
I mean, if Ahsoka and Ezra and Maul showing up doesn't bring him back into the fold when they're at their lowest, and he knows there are other Jedi that need.
I agree with you.
And he doesn't come out then. He doesn't come out ever until Luke is ready to leave.
I agree with you, but this happened in Star Wars a lot. People say like, "What was all these other people doing while stuff was bad?" So,
but they came for him and they knew where Kenobi was. Ahsoka knew, Ezra knew, Kanan knew, Maul knew. All of these people knew where Kenobi was, but he never left to go help anybody on the mission. And the only reason he came out and showed himself to Maul at all was because Ezra was dying in the desert.
I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I'm just saying I think that's what happened. I think he's gonna leave.
I could see them showing us flashbacks of Kenobi with Anakin on that water planet on a battle we hadn't seen before. Cho confirmed that audiences will definitely see Obi-Wan and Vader get into it. I still think that's going to be a flashback or a Vader dream sequence. I don't think that's going to be them actually crossing sabers.
Yeah, I wouldn't care either way. I would be perfectly fine with it being a dream sequence, even though I usually hate that stuff. But if it makes everybody happy, because I'll get my wish, I'll see Hayden versus Ewan again, and everybody else will get their wish, and it won't technically break the canon.
I think it's going to be Hayden in the suit, and I think we're going to get to see like that inside of the suit. Hayden's face while they're maybe crossing sabers. I think those sequences are going to be more about Anakin or Vader in the suit.
Oh, that would be, dude. That would be honestly, that would be amazing.
Like
if we saw like inside the helmet shots and saw like his facial expressions, that would be amazing.
You know how Anakin used to battle the droid that turned into Maul to fight Kenobi's fight again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
I could see it being like that. Like, okay, robot Kenobi sequence again, and going over what he fucked up over and over and over again in his head, and torturing himself. You know what I mean? I could see a lot of that stuff in the suit.
I think this shit gonna piss y'all off.
My final thoughts is this. This is my final thoughts because this is supposed to be final thoughts an hour.
I'm gonna win $1. That's your final thought. I'm gonna get me a brand new crisp dollar bill with your signature on it. That's my final thought.
You gonna frame that?
All I got to say is your odds are impossible right now.
My R2 is gonna be my piggy bank for your dollar right there.
I want to say this though, Session. I think you think I came from a negative point of view, and no, I didn't.
No, I'm
a Star Wars fan.
I want you to not say what if and say it's going to be great and put that positivity in the atmosphere.
If I can't swim,
why is always go to that with black people?
You can't. That's the funny thing though, because I can swim. If I can't swim,
you don't really need to swim. You just need to float.
And you are the best swimmer. You can't be mad at me for putting on a life jacket before I jump in.
Hell no.
But that's all I'm saying.
There's no ego here with me. When it comes to this stuff, I'm just letting y'all know what I think. I always hope I'm wrong, because then I get to learn me something.
And I hope you're right. But I hope you're right.
But I'll give it to him in pennies. But I can't bet against Dave Filoni. Right. After watching him with George Lucas and then watching the conversations that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have backstage in between shots, the man goes so deep into lore. Like there's one scene that they're talking about Din Djarin leaving when he hung that dude on the light post and he shoots the light out. McConaughey, yeah, right. That conversation and the conversation of them talking about the last shot where we see Boba's feet rescuing Finnick. Those conversations are what give me hope.
Yeah,
is that finally Disney and Lucasfilms has realized that they don't need a suit in charge of story. They need a storyteller in charge of story. And that's why I love that's where my hope is.
Before we get out of here,
real quick, I love Rogue One. I love Mandalorian. Do I want Kenobi to be dope? Yes, I do want it to be dope. But at the same time, my friend,
you worried?
Dave Filoni. Yes, he do. He's like the second coming of George Lucas. But this project right here is so close to home and dear to people's hearts. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can't mess that up.
And I think he knows that. I think he loses his job. I think he loses his job if he doesn't.
I'm gonna say something to make you a little upset, though. Obsession.
Go ahead, baby.
One thing in Fatal J's favor about messing it up, the dude who's writing the script or whatever, he is kind of like a nobody. So
right, but do you think that guy isn't getting FaceTime with George Lucas and Dave?
I agree.
Right?
What if it's another apprentice?
Even still, I mean, do you think that
my apprentice
that George and Dave are not guiding this young writer?
That's what I'm saying. It might be one of their apprentices.
Right.
They giving him a shot.
Them dudes don't get no sleep, man.
Just real quick. Would you rather see Kenobi or would you rather see Marvel Endgame?
Hold on. I got to give a shout out to the people of this super chats.
What up, Jumpman?
I feel bad. Jumpman, thank you for the $4 holla. He said, got to run. Great chat, guys. Thank you for supporting us all this time, man. We kind of went on a tangent. Daryl the Derelict, he's a member of the ABJ Army. Thank you for supporting that $5 holla.
Let me tell y'all how epic this show is. I don't care how many Marvel movies came out, how many DC movies, what geek movie came out. This is the #1 show that everybody wants to freaking see.
Oh, well, I want to see Ahsoka, but that's cool.
You want to see Ahsoka more than a Kenobi and Vader show?
Oh, stop it.
You might be the only
one. Come on, bro. Come on.
Stop the blasphemy.
That's like watching George Lucas's original Hope. That's Dave Filoni's character. Like that's
you were part of that 18% on my poll that said Ahsoka.
I damn well was. Yeah, to me, like that show is Dave Filoni's crowning achievement, right? That is going to be him showing off.
Ahsoka's like his jerk off puppet, though.
Yeah, he is literally.
This stream is just in all kinds of trouble.
I know this stream don't went crazy, man.
He is literally writing his Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, let me change my verbiage. Which one is the most anticipated show out of Ahsoka and Kenobi show?
Everybody's waiting for Kenobi. Everybody's waiting for Kenobi.
Everybody's eyes will be on this.
Right. And it's first, I think. Isn't AVJ, you might know. Is that slated first?
No, Book of Boba Fett, then Kenobi.
Every news media,
Ahsoka.
every news media, every eye, every critic, every fan will be tuned in to watch it.
Go ahead.
No, it's Kenobi first.
And all I'm saying is Ahsoka come before Mando season 3 at this point?
Yeah,
probably.
I think everything.
Mando's screwed, bro.
We could do a whole stream on that, man. I knew as soon as I saw Book of Boba Fett title screen, I was like, "Yep, we're screwed."
Yep, Justin. Yep. We might not even get a Mandalorian 3 if you think about it.
Nah, we will. It'll be 2022 late or either early 2023.
I honestly think we might even see a like. I think if it just depends on who drops first. If they drop Book of Boba first, I think we might even potentially see like a Kenobi in the background on one of the flashback scenes of Boba Fett on Tatooine, right? Like all little hints like that stored in the background of Boba Fett leading into Kenobi.
I don't know if Junkman's still here. I want
Boba Fett to be dope, but the hype is not as big as a Kenobi show. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's true.
I wouldn't care if you break. I wouldn't care. To me, it ain't equal. I wouldn't care if they kind of break and bend canon when it comes to Boba Fett, but with Kenobi, that's like royalty right there. That's back Skywalker family type stuff.
Yeah, that's Skywalker saga type hype.
Yeah, right. That's like up here. That's why my doubts is not high because I don't want to be disappointed.
I don't think you can lead out. I don't think you can't lead the parade with disappointment, right? You can't start with disappointment. And I think that's why Kenobi, they know how much hype is behind Kenobi and how many people are waiting. That's why I'm putting my money on it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is because
I can't wait till you pay me $100 too.
I genuinely have hope because Dave is in the seat of power. He may not be at the top of the food chain, but he is definitely, and being a supervisor it's great being below the supervisor because they got to deal with all the suits. And that's what Kathleen's doing. He gets to play all day as head of story. And that's where you want him. You don't want him making Disney doll decisions and, when to release this doll or this Fuku Pop. Like he doesn't need to make those decisions. He needs to make decisions on story, which is what he's doing now. That's all he's doing.
I want to get around to what Junkman was saying about Spring Mando. I saw this today, actually.
I did too.
The reason why I don't think that this is going to happen is because they're saying Mando will not start filming until late this year, early 2022.
Yeah,
so I just don't see I don't see how they get it done and edited and out by spring. That's just me though.
Now Boba Fett is gonna be dope. Y'all think they trying to Boba Fett is kind of just in case show? No. If Mandalorian is done, or do you think they trying to have them both go on?
Yeah, I think we might get another season.
Because I'm like Justin, when I seen that Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, I was like, okay, this. Don't get me wrong when I say just in case this might be a whack show. I'm just saying just in case Pedro is out of there.
Well, the rumor is that there is another season of Book of Boba Fett because on the leaked stuff they gave the employees, it says Book of Boba Fett season 1. So if it was like a limited production, I'm sure they probably even want to put season 1 on there. I think they have plans to come back and do other.
They're gonna make a lot of money out of merchandise with Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, people love Boba Fett. They're gonna sell so much Boba Fett stuff.
They're also setting up for the Mandalorian War. Like that's what all of this is setting up for.
Nah, that'll be dope.
all of this is setting up for Mando met Bo-Katan, Mando met Boba. Those two people, Din Djarin technically, Bo-Katan and Boba Fett are heirs to the Mandalorian throne, technically. And then Din Djarin has the Darksaber, which automatically gives him right to the throne. So there's going to be drama with that they have to play out. So they have to introduce the new fandom because the new fans don't know Boba, right? And so they didn't follow all the shit that we did when we were younger. So now they have to introduce Boba. Boba Fett now becomes part of the story to help retake Mandalore. And I think that's what the end of Mandalorian is going to be, is the new king of Mandalore holding the Darksaber on the throne of Mandalore. And that they're building this. That's what I'm saying. All of this, Kenobi, Book of Boba, Andor, Mando 3, Ahsoka, all of these are building to an endgame style evolution.
Yo,
they're going to be fighting.
And look, on Mandalorian, look here, watch this. Mandalorian, every single episode, even episodes that people said that was filler, from season 1 all the way to the end of season 2, flawless victory. Every episode was perfect. If Boba Fett is just like Mandalorian, then I can start saying, hey, Star Wars is in the right direction and everything is looking good.
I don't think Jon Favreau and them are going to mess that show up. I think that's going to be a good
But I'm just saying, I just want to prove my point that I'm not a Star Wars hater.
No, baby, you love Star Wars. But
with this relationship that I had with Star Wars, I had a bad breakup. I went through bad.
A lot of people did, and I think that this is them trying to make the next phase of Star Wars what the last phase should have been. They realized
a lot of their quick.
ABJ crazy.
Y'all know how everybody's saying like this whole Mandoverse or Filoniverse, whatever, is going in the Heir to the Empire direction, and they're bringing in a lot of Legends content into canon, or kind of adapting it into being into canon now. I saw something today that a lot of people haven't been talking about, or at least I haven't seen it. That Patty Jenkins actually said for her movie, the Rogue Squadron movie, that they're going to adapt some of the stuff from the Rogue Squadron Legends novel and actually like name the author like by name, and said that he's going to be helping out. And also the 1998 Nintendo game.
Now let me ask you, Justin. I saw an interview with her where she also said, like, she talked about that, but she kind of also said like they weren't gonna use everything. They're like,
she also said it's an original story. Yeah, she also said that she has a lot of control over the story.
Well, and isn't the story this is after Rise of Skywalker? This is supposed to be after the First Order.
Yeah, so it's not going to be set in the same timeline. I think, like I said, it's just going to be a lot of like similar themes, similar characters, just like adapting it into today's Star Wars from Legends.
Yeah, well, and her movie is going to be awesome in its own independent thing just because of her background. So it's going to be great. I
don't like Patty Jenkins though that much. It's just me.
I don't either, but I like the background that she has in flight, and that she's been around aviation her whole life. That's a big thing when you're designing a flight movie.
And what she said about her dad, that she always wanted to make the perfect aviation movie, I think this is going to blow our minds. It's going to be a good
I hope so. I want it to be good.
Hey, man, this could be the Iron Eagle of Star Wars to me. Like, they could literally rewrite Iron Eagle in the Star Wars vernacular, and I'd be like, take my money, please.
One thing I want to say about Book of Boba before we get off of that is just that I think it'll be super cool if what they set up with Boba is basically, because at this point, I don't think he cares anything about Mandalore. He's very much like, bro, I'm not about that life. I'm just, simple man making my way to the galaxy.
He don't care about Mandalore. He's not a Mandalorian.
Right.
Am I right?
I mean, he is, but he isn't. Like, technically he is a Mandalorian, but he just he works for himself. He's all about himself. He doesn't care about He could care less about what's happening on Mandalore. This
has always been my confusion because I'm kind of hardcore into the books, but I'm not that much. I always thought Boba Fett wasn't a Mandalorian because it was almost like a lifestyle thing. You'd have to like being born on Mandalore does not make you a Mandalorian. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, it's a creed. Remember?
So George changed. So George originally says he isn't a Mandalorian. He just kind of got that armor off of someone. That's what he said about Jango and Boba. Dave and them have changed that, and that was kind of one of the things that people were so hyped about, is that in the Mandalorian, like he's like, this is my father's chain code, this armor, you know, and people were like, yes, he's a Mandalorian, a real Mandalorian. Like people were all hyped because everyone always thought like, man, George, what you talking about, George? You know, as much as we love George, he does some stuff where we're like, George, what do you think?
And that was also early interviews about Boba. That wasn't really, and I mean, you know, listening to X-Wing stream the other night, hearing the actor knowing stuff that a lot of us didn't know, you know, the fact that they killed Boba off because he was becoming too much of an anti-hero, and the following was huge for Boba after Empire, and that's why they ended up killing him in Return of the Jedi. So, you know, George didn't have a lot of love for Boba Fett's character maybe back then when he was doing a lot of these interviews, and now that they've changed it with you know, they've kind of retconned his backstory a little bit. And he is Mandalorian. I mean, Jango was Mandalorian because of the Creed, where he was adopted. You know, Jango Fett was adopted by, it wasn't Tar Vizsla, it was I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's basically, if Din Djarin is Death Watch, Boba Fett is the original Mandalorian.
Right.
So that's the fun part about them tag teaming and being together, is that they're technically on two different sides of a very old war.
And I don't, wouldn't Din's group of Mandalorians not recognize Boba Fett as a true Mandalorian?
Yeah, because they believe in Death Watch, in the Death Watch mentality, and Jango was
yeah. So it kind of just depends on what Mandalorians you're talking about.
Exactly, and that's kind of what Bo-Katan was saying, is that like, you're no Mandalorian. He's like, I'm more Mandalorian than you are. Like, I don't know where you come from, princess. You know.
Yeah.
And this is what I think that the show should do. I hope it does. Is it takes all like these characters that are in these different factions of what they think Mandalorian should be, and has them all kind of come together and fight to retake Mandalore and restart it. I think that would be super dope. And I really hope that we get to see Luke, and I don't know about Ezra, but hopefully Ezra and Ahsoka and, you know, Din Djarin with the Darksaber, all of them fighting together for Mandalore together with Baby Yoda. That would be sick.
Bo-Katan says something. There's this repeated thing about Mandalore that keeps getting spread around, that Mandalore was turned to glass.
Yeah,
right? That the Empire did something, and Bo-Katan is iterating, you don't know what you're talking about. Right. That's a rumor the Empire spread to haunt the Mandalorians that are still out there, because they know that the Mandalorians are probably the only army that could defeat the Empire. So they had to spread them thin to thin out the herd. But I think that that we're going to go to Mandalore in the Mandalorian season 3.
I think, man, that'd be so sick, dude.
I don't think Luke would help. Honestly, he just looked so uninterested in anything but the Force whenever he showed up. Like, he just seems like he's so infatuated with the Force.
I feel like he's fighting against the Empire. He'd help.
Maybe.
Well, and I think it's more going to be, you know, the people that have been associated with Mandalorians in a positive way. Ahsoka and Sabine with Ezra. You're going to see Din Djarin with Bo-Katan.
Grogu would help Din.
Yeah, so this is what I think too. Maybe that's why Luke would help. He would go with
maybe
Grogu,
if he forms a connection with Grogu or something.
You're going to see Grogu upside down holding Luke on his foot while letting rocks, and he's going to see Din Djarin on Mandalore getting messed up and be like, I got to go. I can't stay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool stuff they could do with that, because Dave knows that Star Wars is supposed to rhyme like poetry. So it'd be like so poetic that now Luke is training this, you know, we don't know the name of the species.
Wouldn't it be dope if they went back to Dagobah to do it?
That'd be crazy, dude. People would be crying. Oh my god, he's Dagobah.
I don't know if you were getting at this already, but it's also extremely poetic, because Luke left Dagobah when Yoda was telling him not to. Like, it was a bad idea to go help your friends. If Grogu leaves Luke to go help Din in the war, that's just even more poetic, dude. That would be amazing.
Yeah, my body is ready for it. All right, look, we've been going. We gotta
get out of here. This stream was supposed to end 2 hours ago.
It was.
You guys are so great. That's why it lasted so long.
Yeah, it was. This was pretty fun though. I love talking Stars with you guys. We just kind of went down the rabbit hole, but it was fun.
The longest stream that I wasn't on the time, but
debates are awesome, man. You know what I'm saying?
I hate conflict. No,
man. You don't never come to a stream and everybody, yeah, you're right. That's boring. That's what makes life great. As long as people don't get upset or go crazy or something, just have a discussion and have fun, man.
Imagine y'all just your mama's
debate. This is the spirit of debate that people get lost in. Is like we can disagree and still move forward.
Yeah.
If nothing else, the regs should learn from us that us sweaties can get sweaty on stuff and still high five at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it would have been a great stream if y'all had a fault. I'm just saying.
Nah, man.
Your mama told me Kenobi was gonna be.
There's been too much of that this week, man. I ain't getting into all that.
I'm joking.
Man. I'm a peaceful man. I just want love all across the world, man. I'm a black hippie, man. I'm a hippie.
Hey, me too. But for real though, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for letting me join this lovable band of misfits.
Anytime.
I've had a great time talking Star Wars with you. I haven't got to talk to anybody all week, so I was passionate and excited. So this ends my week on a gem. I hope everybody enjoyed Bad Batch. I got some stuff in the works. We're going to end up trying this Ahsoka novel again. We're going to do it in a private stream. So if y'all want to get on a private stream and listen to the Ahsoka book with us, come on over, hit me up on the Discord. We're going to be sending some links out because we're going to do it private because the publishing house put the yeesh on the first one.
Wow, really?
Yeah. They didn't give me a strike. They just said, you can't
copyright. Yeah.
All right, whatever. Cool. So, but we are going to do it in private. We're still going to make it happen. So if anybody wants to come join, hit us up on the channel in the Discord. Join us for all the fun stuff.
Let's see. Star Wars obsession.
And Justin, if you last time we talked, we were talking about Loki, and you were not watching it for some reason.
Oh no, I love Loki. I'm not watching Bad Batch. I can't watch Bad Batch.
Justin can't wait till Invincible come back.
Bro,
Invincible's so amazing.
I might do an Invincible channel, bro.
I can't wait for the last episode of Loki. That shit.
Oh yeah,
just fire right now.
I think they're gonna drop something heavy on us too on that last episode.
They better, man, because if they don't stick the landing,
Thor better be in that house just hanging out on a typewriter writing shit. Pruning Lokis.
Doing something stupid.
I don't want it to be another Loki variant that's like running the whole thing.
Oh my god, that would suck. Like the one who actually conquered the Timekeepers is running it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that'll piss me off.
But you know what? That's the biggest thing, the mystery behind the Timekeepers. Who is that?
Yeah, but they're trying to, it's going to be Kang the Conqueror. They're trying to build the next baddie for the next phase of.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Somebody told me in the group message, I think, that would be too on the nose, but I think
I would be the season finale. They need an on the nose villain to create hype. They can't have Loki be the bad villain because, well, it's Loki.
Yeah, right? Anti-hero now.
Yeah, they need.
Wait, who do y'all think's gonna be the villain?
It's got to be Kang the Conqueror.
I was thinking, why haven't Marvel touched on Doom or Galactus as being the big baddies?
But hold on, before you answer that, is he too big to introduce in this show?
Kang? Nah, I don't think so.
Because I think Kang's gonna be like around.
Wasn't Kang supposed to be an Ant-Man or something too?
Isn't Kang supposed to be a Ninja Turtles too? No, I'm just
kidding. All right, y'all. I'm gonna jump out of here. We're getting crazy again. Much love to everybody. You guys have a good night.
Hey, my brother, before you leave, what was that thing you called to control your streams? That little thing?
Oh, it's called ATEM, ATEM. Just type in ATEM.
Oh yeah, Obsession, real quick.
Obsession. Let me know in the chat. I forgot.
We're gonna end the broadcast. Thank you everyone coming out. I love you guys. Thank you for the super chats.
Wait, don't leave,
out, like no doubt.
No, I'm not leaving. I'll stay in for the after.